South 560 on your cell phone.
Opinions of Neil, his guests and callers do not necessarily represent those of the Beasley Broadcast Group, its staff, advertisers, or agencies. Now, here's Neil Rogers on 560 QAM.
Hey, there we go. Hey, y'all, my name is Clarence Eugene Thomas, President Bush's nominee for the Supreme Court. And you know, there's lots of people out there that think just I smoked a little marijuana when I was in college. Yeah, it wasn't nothing but a pen joint. Well, maybe a cigar-side joint. I don't remember, y'all. That they don't think I'm fit to be on the Supreme Court. Yeah, I got to munch it. Let's do this quick and get out of here. I want to set y'all straight. When I stop reviewing the law, I don't just review the law. Tell y'all, I've been toking. All right. And I took it to the east, and I took it to the west, and I took it while I look up Sandra Day O'Connor's dress. I'll be toking. Let's go burn one, y'all.
10:01 at 560 WQAM. Happy Wednesday, too. Boy, I feel a lot better today. Thank the Lord.
Oh, Neil, God.
You said it. Man, what a difference a day and a couple of pills will make, you know? You think it's the pills? Had kind of like a combination lunch dinner at Emerald Coast last night. Thanks a lot, Richard. Great people over there up in, what is that? Oakland Park?
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean,
I was going to say Sunrise, but
no, it is definitely not Sunrise. Is it Sunrise? I guess it is Sunrise. Well, wherever it is on by 44th and Pine Island. At any rate, and feeling better, which is good news for me. I mean, not that most people care out there, but I thought I'd mention it anyway just in case somebody might. Speaking of that, happy birthday, Crystal. In fact, to show you how Eric is right on the top of things on our website, it's even on there. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
He's got your birthday on there, December 6th, which is a good thing, because otherwise I would have forgotten. It would have cost you
money.
No,
it's written real big on the calendar.
No. Oh, yeah, George's birthday he's got on there. He says, make the check bigger this year.
In 2 colors.
You want the check in 2 colors? And so, happy birthday, Crystal. Crystal's 25 today. And will not touch Al Goldstein even with your hands. Believe me when I tell you. Just the thought of that is so grotesque and so disgusting. So unclean. I mean, talk about kosher. I got a great idea for the political problems that we're having here. Alternate days. Yeah, Bush can be president every other day, and Gore can be president and it works out good for Lieberman because, like on the high holidays, you can have Cheney in there. I can't think of anybody more goyish than he is.
Maybe they could just delegate the responsibility.
And then on days when Cheney has got agita and heart attacks, so you can have Lieberman come in and fill the gap.
So Gore can take care of foreign affairs
and make a little Logan David. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
And they can leave Bubba around for like domestic affairs. That sounds good to me. I mean, the whole thing is just so ridiculous.
He's going to start doing the maids now?
He's going to do what?
The maids?
He's going to start doing the maids, yeah. Great news, though. I know everybody wants to talk about the election. Our poll yesterday, who should rightfully be the next president based on everything you've seen so far, and the counts and the recounts and Count Dracula. We had 838 votes, pretty heavy duty considering we allegedly have no audience. Gore 579, 69%. See, there I go again. I'm back, and there comes the 69 up on the goddamn computer again, like it's a conspiracy. And Bush 259, 31%. So that proves 2 things. So we got a lot of staunch Gore people out there who want to stick it out. When in doubt, stick it out. And also the Bush people are gone and warming up their radios for lard ass. You know something? Maybe the Bush people not only are on the lard ass, maybe they discovered Dr. Laura too. You think that's a possibility? Yeah, because she's sufficiently right wing for them. Just don't tell them that she's Jewish. Even more Jewish than Jew Lieberman, if that's possible. Super Orthodox. And it just kind of rubbed off because she was never super Orthodox before, but she married an Orthodox Jew, and then it rubbed off, and that's when she became a bigoted bitch. But that could be where they're all hanging out between, which is fine with us. Fine with us. One thing about me.
Bye.
Yeah, if the Bush people are too emotional crippled to handle the truth that they hear on this program, all I can say is.
Bye.
And don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. I mean, that's just the way it goes. But anyway, there is one piece of great news, according to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the reason I played the Clarence Thomas there at the beginning, because he was one of the 3 assholes, as usual, the dissenting voices on the Supreme Court. Random drug roadblocks barred.
Oh!
Yeah!
Oh!
Ruling limits police searches. Emphasizing strict limits on law enforcement searches and seizures, the U.S. Supreme Court strongly defended a person's right to be left alone when it ruled Tuesday that random roadblocks designed to catch vehicles carrying drugs in Indianapolis violated the Constitution. In a 6-3 ruling, the court said the roadblocks violated the Fourth Amendment's prohibition against unreasonable searches and seizures because police had no special reason to do them. Instead, the court ruled the roadblocks were part of a general scheme by law enforcement to find evidence of a crime. As in, if allowed roadblocks for those reasons, the court said, there would be little check on the ability of the authorities to construct roadblocks for almost any conceivable law enforcement purpose. Without drawing the line at roadblocks designed primarily to serve the general interest in crime control, the Fourth Amendment would do little to prevent such intrusions from becoming a routine part of American life, wrote even Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. How do you like that? The ruling affirmed the Federal Appeals Court decision in Chicago, which had sided with a group of motorists who had challenged the roadblocks as unconstitutional seizure. And there's nothing worse than having, just ask Dick Cheney, nothing worse than having unconstitutional seizure. While the program was in operation, Indianapolis police stopped more than 1,000 cars at 6 different roadblocks. The stops resulted in 55 arrests for drug possession, 49 for license or registration infractions. They did say, however, that it is okay to stop Schwarzers if they're trying to go vote. Like up in the Panhandle, that's okay. Speaking of Schwarzers, the dissenting voices on the court as usual. Chief Justice Fascist William Rehnquist, he wrote a dissent that was joined by Antonin Scalia and Clarence frickin' Token Thomas. What a piece of crap he is, you know?
Uncle Thomas.
So, but this story, right there, those people who downplay the business about the Supreme Court, right there is the only reason that we should be excited about the presidential election still. I'm not enthused about Al Gore. In fact, the more I see him, the less I like him, if that's possible. The more I see him, the more wooden he becomes. You see when he came bouncing out on the White House lawn yesterday? That was right after we got off the air. Thank God he waited. Huh? Jeez, I mean, he just hasn't got it. You wish he had it. You're hoping for him. Come on, maybe today's the day he'll wake up with like a little bit of a personality. What do you think?
No.
No. Tomorrow?
No.
How about a week from Donnerstick?
No.
No. Jesus Christ, just ain't gonna happen. You don't have it. You got 4 guys in there. You got the one guy who keeps having a heart attack every other week. You got a guy who's dumber than sawdust and just about is proud of it too, I guess. And just keeps going into hiding, waiting for all these people that they shroud him with to do the work for him. And then we got the wooden Indian, and you got the professional Jew there who's running around telling everybody about we need a lot more God and et cetera and so on, and let's ban everything he doesn't like. Even though he really, wink, wink, he doesn't mean it. Wink, wink. That's who could be in there, Wink Martindale. He ain't doing much these days. I mean, it's got to be that. It's got to be philosophical, because it certainly isn't because the public is enthused about these candidates. I mean, if anybody out there, if you tell me you're enthused about Al Gore or George Bush, we got some serious help on the way to your house immediately, if not sooner. Got a great poll question today. I'll tell you one thing, even on days when I do a crappy show, and there have been a couple of those, maybe one, I come up with the best damn polls. Which of these events was most compelling to you? Now, see, I hate using big words like compelling, because probably a lot of people in the audience, I mean, if they were too stupid to know how to vote, then certainly compelling is a word that, maybe it rhymes with Aaron spelling and smelling. Which of these events was most compelling to you? The O.J. trial, Alien, or the Bush-Gore election? And, you know, since I have to cast a vote on here when the thing pops up after Eric puts it on the website on NeilRogers.com, at this moment, I still am not really sure. I'm kind of torn between. And that's the kind of poll I like, is one that's torn between. 844 votes yesterday and overnight. Who should rightfully be the next president based on all of this, all the chads and all the fads and all the arguments and bickering and the popular vote and the electoral vote and all this crap. All of these things. Gore, 584, 70%, 69%. Bush, 260, 31%. And isn't it refreshing now that the election is over, or at least the casting the ballot part, unless maybe in Palm Beach. But at any rate, that we don't have all these Republicans, these bushlickers that come on and they do the emails and they go, oh, geez, that really prevented us from doing anything, and that made any sense on a poll.
Somebody suggested put the impeachment on Monica Gate on there.
You think that's a good idea?
Yeah, it was a big thing. It was to do. It was a happening.
Okay, well, we'll give you a fourth choice. Eric, what do we call that?
Monica Gate.
Monica Gate. How about Penis Gate? Now they won't know what that is. Monica Gate. Okay, so you got 4 choices. Which of these was most compelling to you? Squirt, squirt. O.J. trial, Alien, the Bush-Gore election, or Monica Gate? And, of course, you know, like the Republicans said, we'll take our time with this thing and get it right. Now, the election, we got to hurry up because we got to run out the clock. Oh, I'm sorry. 10:10 at 560 WQM.
No portion of this program may be reproduced without the express written permission of WQAM Beasley Broadcast Group Incorporated.
Whammy!
God, it sucks.
Just me and the guy. When the news came over, I was mortified. That my business people, I'm just thinking the brag. You go hiding my money behind my back. Yeah, the guys in suits, all they did was steal. They're as trustworthy as my hair is real. I feel it in my wig when I heard the back. But my toothpick held up thanks to moving track. While my rich is black. Gone to their bus, that's my plane of attack. I will bitch, tell the judge it is true. But those guys on their knees, they said nothing to do.
I beg your pardon, I can't eat tomatoes. Don't you understand that? Peter Leonard is a god, I'll tell you that. And haven't I always said that he's a great guy?
Uh-huh.
Peter Leonard, he's the best. In fact, you know something? If he could ever get off those doggy uppers that he's on, he might actually not be too bad of a guy. You might actually go out to dinner with him, you and Crystal. I mean, I wouldn't, but you might. Thanks, Peter, who went over to the diner at his own expense, by the way. See, now this is good. I was talking yesterday about the fact that I have to pay for it, at least the food, and that just doesn't fit in with our whole image here. But the fact when we can get somebody as generous as Peter Leonard and as much of a suck-up, I mean, a good guy as Peter is, to go over there and get it, who insists on paying for it himself, then it fits right in. Nice omelet here, cheese and bacon. You want the tomatoes? I can't eat these tomatoes. Sorry about that. Tomatoes bad for what I got. Bad for your GERD. Oop. There they go, right in the old Schmidt can. People are starving, and this man is throwing big, beautiful slices of fresh red tomato in the Schmidt can. Sorry about that. Somebody will come along and pick it out of there. Put it in the hallway. Josh Friedman will eat it. I got to tell you a great story. Not a great story. It's a bad story. Coming back on a plane from Amsterdam on Martin's Care. This is the story of my life. It's like at the hockey games. You know, the people who stand up in front of me, they sit down in front of me. I can be sitting there, I look around the whole arena, and they're the only ones standing up right in front of me. It's just my luck. It's like when you go to the toll booth, the person in front of you is the only one that's got a $600 bill, or doesn't have any money. So I'm sitting there minding my own business. We're in the middle aisle, and I'm on the right side. Here's a guy who looked like a Dutch Josh Friedman, only bigger and fatter. Didn't smell as bad, thank God. And it was like a group of businessmen. And he's evidently one of his colleagues there, some old obnoxious Dutch guy, is sitting there across the aisle from me. And this big, fat, disgusting Dutchman decides he's going to stand there and talk to him. So he's bending over, and I've got ants in the face. Don't you just love that?
Oh, yeah.
Ants in the face for like a half an hour at a time. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like moving a little further to the left, and I'm like looking at the guy who's, this guy is leaning over talking to him. They're oblivious. See, one thing about the Dutch. See, let me just make it very clear about the Netherlands. So anybody who goes to Amsterdam, on my recommendation, it's a great country. It's free, it's liberal, it's progressive. It's backward in a lot of ways, but it's very progressive socially. The people there, though, a lot of them suck. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's like down here. The weather's nice, and we got beautiful palm trees. The people, most of them suck here, but it's a beautiful place. And the same with over there. There are a lot of good things, but the Dutch are they're rude, very, very inconsiderate. Now, John calls this thing about, they have a different concept of personal space. See, to me, that's just an excuse for being rude. It's got nothing to do with the concept of personal space. They elbow you on the tram, they push right by you. They don't care if they knock you down. Because they figure, well, he already fell down, a couple of months ago, why not again? So here I had ass in the face, and then to make it even better, like later in the flight, he decided he wasn't finished with his conversation. He came back and gave me about another 45 minutes of the old rectum in the face. Which, in spite of all those shows George did on eating ass, but I'm just not into ass. I hate to break the news to you. I wouldn't have cared who it was. I couldn't have cared if he would have been like 20 years old and looked like Brad Pitt on the best day of his life. I don't want his ass in my face. Under any circumstances, but especially sitting there as a captive, as like a prisoner on a plane and a 10-hour plane ride from hell. Exactly. Oh, and I kept thinking about that.
How can you not?
Oh, I thought, and he dressed just like Josh Friedman. He had on a pair of jeans that even though they were like about size 65, they were still too small. And so this big, gigantic, ugly Dutch ass is sitting there just staring me in the face for like half an hour at a time.
And you used to be really fat. You don't always have the option of
never like
controlling it.
this. Never like this. Oh, that's true. When you're that fat, sometimes they just kind of like you're not even aware of it.
It's a pressure thing.
So there, you're right. There's the silver lining. I always tell the audience, look for the silver lining even in the darkest cloud. There's the good piece of news is that he didn't cut one the whole time. Thank you so much, my Dutch friend. Alstublieft. Get out of my face, you disgusting pig. Here's a great fax. It says in a mirror image of the Florida situation, the hypocritical Republicans request a recount in New Mexico. They claim that it's highly unusual that 570 people did not vote for president in Roosevelt County. Gore won by 486. How do you like that? These are the same people that are saying, oh, there's nothing unusual about 10,000 undervotes in Dade County and yada yada. They make it up as they go along. And nationwide, the popular vote, which they're still counting at this point, it's 3 weeks and a day after the election. And they're still counting votes. I'm not talking about the recounting. I'm talking the first time they're still counting votes. Gore's ahead by 328,696 nationwide. Third of a million. So that's where we stand on that. We got hearings up the ass. We got that clown judge up there. I kind of like that guy, that Yahoo. What's his name? N. Sanders Sauls up in Leon County. Don't you like him? He's a panic. He says, yeah, listen to you guys like getting pecked to death by a duck. And he's got all kinds of real cute sayings. And then, of course, and he also had a great line. He said, what'll satisfy me is if I can make both of you attorneys equally unhappy. That'll satisfy me. Then I'll know I'm doing a good job. Okay, let's see what's going on here, Dale. Look at this. Look at this. This is shocking to me. This is because it's kind of an out of sight, out of mind thing. Their Alzheimer's kicks in. Which of these events is most compelling to you? The election, 13, Ilion 3, OJ 2, and the Penasgate 0 so far. I mean, we added that on because somebody out there thought it was a good idea, and maybe it was.
It was televised. You know, the hearings and all that.
Then we didn't hear about any blowjobs. Oh, of course, the election thing here, I guess you could say that Gore blew it in so many ways. Blew it right down the old turlet.
Probably knew Catherine Harris.
Probably made a big splash while he was at it. Okay, let's take a couple of calls here today. You've got to be kidding me. He calls me here on the air. I'm in Amsterdam for 10 days, never called me over there, and he calls me here on the air because he wants to be a ham bone. Where have you been in hiding?
How you doing? Neil, I did the dumbest thing in Amsterdam. I got back Sunday night. I forgot which airline I flew with. It doesn't matter. Sabina, which is totally mediocre. They don't even, under the toilet paper, they don't put the toilet paper in the bed.
Yeah.
The seats in coach are so small, I had to eat.
Well, wait a minute. You flew in coach?
Yeah, I do.
What a cheap bastard you are, man. You're brutal.
Well, Rose is my budget. Listen, you can't even put the tray down. I had to balance the food on my head. But while I'm in Amsterdam, you're going to laugh because you're going to feel superior, and you live to feel superior to me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stoned because I'm at the High Times Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I go to McDonald's stoned. While I'm online, I'm dreaming about a cheeseburger. Somebody bumps me. I got robbed of my $5,000 necklace, the thing I always wear.
Really?
George knows it. I'm so upset.
The chick sitting on the moon, the one that you used to poke your
yeah, exactly.
cigars?
I used the girl's feet to put holes in my cigar. Anyway,
you put your cigar on her moon? What did you say?
Well, you know, she's a pretty girl, and I use her to
as a beard, yeah, I know.
Yeah. But
like all the other women you hang out with,
Neil,
it's a beard.
Neil, it's so bad. Though.
How was the dark room at the Adonis, Al?
Yeah, right. That's where it happened. No, but it happened at McDonald's.
That's where it really happened, yeah.
Okay.
There was probably some meat that you were eating, but it had nothing to do with McDonald's.
Did you have fun?
I had a good time, yeah.
I guess you're a partner often.
How come we never heard from you?
Because you didn't call me because I try to respect your privacy.
Good.
I didn't even hear from the landlord, Peter.
But I do hear that you have a new key to your apartment, though.
I got it for you. I'll come over. You know, I was with Joey Buttafuoco, who will be here he's staying with me December.
Don't bring him here.
Okay, you don't want him?
Ron Jeremy was fun.
Okay.
Even with all the hair.
No Joey?
Do not bring Joey here. Don't bring Joey Reynolds. Don't bring Joey Buttafuoco. Don't bring any Joey.
Okay, but I want to ask you, what did you do with my necklace after you grabbed it off my neck?
Pawned it.
Okay. Did you ever eat Chinese
got
food?
15,000 gilder for it. Yeah.
Did you eat it at the Oriental? It's a half a block from the greenhouse. A wonderful place.
We ate at a place called the Peking Inn, which is right up the street from me there on Weiselstraat.
Was it good?
It was pretty good.
Let me tell you, the Eurodollar is so weak, it's good for us. I took 8 people for dinner. It came out to $120, about 300 gilder. It's a pleasure to be in that country.
Now, is it true that you and Jeff Cohen are an item now? Or is it...
Homosexual, yes.
Yeah.
We're getting married.
Good. Well,
we're going to live in Hawaii. He's opening a Hawaiian pizza loft.
It's legal in Amsterdam. That's dynamite.
Isn't it amazing? So many.
I got so sick over there from the crappy food, from all the fatty food, and then I thought I was dying over there. I thought that was it.
Well, the Chinese food saves you. Pork fried rice is the boom.
I had some pork.
Martinair was how much round trip, first class?
First class Martinair is $1,700.
Come on, you're rich. You're rich. You got the contract, Norm.
Now, what are you talking about? You've got more money than I'll ever see if I live to be 300. What are you? You're just a cheap, stereotypical fat Jew. Why don't you lighten up a little bit and put it in circulation? Spend some of that money.
I gained 10 pounds too because I did a lot of Ben and Jerry's fish food over Stone. Yeah, thanks to you and your advertising.
You are really, seriously. When you croak, and believe me, it may not be too long based on what you just told us. They'll embalm you, and you'll be there at Madame Tussauds as one of the wonders of the world. How you stay alive, I just don't get it. In fact, I told the landlord, I told Peter, I said, you better call him because I'm a little bit worried. We haven't heard from him for one of his 50 meals yet. And
Friday night I'm going to be at Trapeze, so tell George to bring Crystal along. I want to do her finally.
You taking Joey?
You're taking Joey to Trapeze?
Are you?
Friday night. I got a new girl I met, Heidi. She's very sweet.
No.
And she answered my ad in the Sun Sentinel.
No.
Girl. You're not coming?
Stick with these mental cases that you pick out of these food farms. Stick with them. They're right up your alley.
Well, the Adonis wore me out. My mouth hurts. I got to rest.
Well, don't get sore about it.
Okay.
Well, listen, bring me that key, okay?
I will. I'll come over later.
Today?
No, later in the week, okay?
Okay.
Bye, darling. Bye-bye.
Oh! Woo! Somewhere, some Dutch person is enjoying the fruits, the benefit of the money that this cheap bastard won't put in circulation from stealing his necklace. I think there is a God.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's good news. Nice going, Al, baby. This omelet's a little on the... 26 after 10 at 560 WQAM. 5670560. We'll get to your calls. Just cool it. Pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. God, I feel better today. Much better. Sound better. I feel better. I feel like a brand new... I was like, that's the energy when you have the thing like in the upper chest like that. When you have that GERD. Yeah.
It even gives you a headache from it.
It gives you a headache and it saps your energy and you feel like bad. You feel like crap. You feel like a dead old Jew. And Hank called in yesterday toward the end of the show, if you missed that, and said that he had the same thing. He said, you think that the fact that we're fat might have something to do with all this? Yeah, that might have something to do with it. So quit eating. Quit eating, goddammit. Right after I finish my omelet. 1027 at 560 QA.
I hate the Irish.
Everybody's talking about Indecision 2000. And now here's your chance to own a piece of history with his musical debut, Al Gore sings Leslie Gore.
It's my party. I'll recount if I want to. Recount if I want to. Recount if I want to. You'd recount too if you thought you would lose. It's gonna be George's turn to cry. George's turn to cry. George's turn to cry. But the Supreme Court's gonna lose for me. That's what I got boys for. That's what David Boys is for. Sunshine State sucks, and I'm not giving up, but I guess I could fishy with that little brother.
Yes, it's Al Gore, singing all four of Leslie Gore's greatest hits. Available now at a courtroom near you.
Hey, double, y'all. I won't give up. Al Gore is here to stay.
1033 at 560 WQM. George has got a big appearance this weekend. Saturday, noon to 2 at Bill Seidel's on 36th Street in Miami. The Best of Meal 2000 will be available. Food provided by, you guessed it, Atlantic City Subs. And our good buddy, what's his name? Scott Nara. Is that his name, Scott Nara? Yeah, it's all one name. It's one guy. All those good fatty core cuts, I mean, all that good stuff from Atlantic City Sub. No, they're good guys, even though Defoe's the one that brought them in here and turned the keys to the kingdom over to them. Our Planned Parenthood total so far, $60,880. Plenty of CDs, cassettes, and T-shirts left. Less than 100 keychains remain. If you want the Best in Neil keychain, where the hell is that? If you want one of those, you better go to NeilRogers.com right now and order yours, because once they're gone, that's it. NeilRogers.com, where you can also order the rest of the merchandise. You can also go to your spec stores in Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Naples, and Fort Myers and pick up the Best Neil CDs and cassettes. And please do. We got the month of December left. We'll make over $100,000 this year, won't we? By hook or by crook. Just like they won the election, by hook or by crook. That's the new deal. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Listen, I just wanted to call and set the record straight on two things that were brought up on your show yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
About Judge Burden being a Republican and about the Democratic Party approving the ballot. I have two articles from the Miami Herald. One was on November the 26th on Burden, and I'll just read two sentences. He is a registered Democrat and a one-time college intern for Edward Kennedy, but he was appointed to the bench by Republican Governor Jeb Bush. And on the Democratic Party approving the ballot...
Then why do they keep referring to him as a Republican?
Because that's the Republican Party saying so. I mean, I can fax this to you if you want.
It's pretty hard, just like Teresa Lepore. One day she was a Democrat, then she's a Republican, now she's a Democrat again. And the same with this judge up there, this Judge Sauls, who used to be Republican and now he's a Democrat, and we're not really sure what he is.
Okay, well, this is a big article on just the Judge Burden. So, I mean, I can fax it to you if you want to see it.
No, I'll pass.
Okay, and the other one on Lepore and on the Democratic Party, this is on November the 10th, and it says... Lepore's defenders, including Republican leaders, have said that many eyes approved her ballot design. However, Bob Poe, executive director of the Florida Democratic Party, confirmed that no one in his party signed off on the ballot. GOP officials couldn't be reached for comment. So that's on those two things.
But that's not legal. Somebody had to sign off on it because that's the law.
Yes. Well, further on in the article, it says Winchester, who was her Lepore's previous boss.
Yeah.
Says, the frequency of elections, she says, precludes review by political parties or state election officials. The county's three-person candidacy board doesn't see the ballot before it's printed. Like, it's not really done, is what she's saying.
I think she's done.
So,
I know she's done.
Just so you'll know, okay?
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.
I just can't stand that slut.
Yeah, that's Teresa Lepore. She's the chicken in the woodpile. How does it feel, Teresa, to know that you have that kind of power? That you single-handedly picked the next president, probably. How does it feel, sweetheart? She's even got more power than that Secretary of Bush up there. Nice going, Teresa. Don't take it personally now. We don't want you to get stressed out, unless, of course, you want to. Here's a call from Naples. Hello.
Hi, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy, am I glad to talk to you. You know, you're the only breath of sanity on this whole area here.
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
You know, I happened to accidentally touch on your program one time.
You touched it?
And I thought you were, well, this must be another Limbo or the felon Liddy or whatever. And I said, my God, he's talking sense.
Isn't it amazing that somebody to the left of Hitler can actually be on a radio in America, that you don't have to be some right-wing fascist, paranoid cow like Lardass Limbaugh or some convicted felon?
It's hard to believe.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a local commissioner who has turned talk show host here.
Really?
And he was arrested for who knows what. And, you know, what my point is, and what I'd like to say to you, and it's so important, you know, you can get brainwashed so easily if you're not careful about listening to what's being told.
How could anybody get brainwashed by fat-ass Limbaugh or Gordon Liddy? I mean, as long as you know where they're coming from, which even a little child knows, how can you believe anything that they say?
Well, that's how it seems to you and to me, but yet you have these perfectly normal people repeating this nonsense, you know?
Well, because people are stupid. People like to be led. That's why Rush started a thing with the ditto heads. No, seriously, what kind of a moron are you that you say, okay, whatever you say, ditto, 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 because you're my God and I'm one of your disciples, one of your underlings.
Well, there you go. That's
one of your lemmings.
the Seminole County thing, you know, it's, just to give you an example, in the newspaper, in the Naples Daily News, the headline was, you know, the courts are picking up whatever, and of course there was a mention about a small sideline that what was happening with the Supreme Court with pulling people over without intention, you know. And then the Seminole County story was on the last page. In other words, the one that where they went in and knowingly altered the information and
right. It was only on 4,700 ballots.
Exactly. I mean, that sole issue would be the end of this whole extravaganza.
Right.
But for some reason, when a Republican hears that a felony has taken place, oh, that's okay because that's politics.
Mm-hmm.
But if they stole their car,
it's just like the recount. They like the recount in Seminole County. They like the recount in Polk County. They like the elimination of the 51 votes in Nassau County because they were all for Gore. They like it when it's expedient for them. But when it's not expedient for them, oh, the Democrats are trying to change the law and they're counting these dimpled ballots. And just like I said yesterday, the article I read from the International Herald Tribune, they just had this recount in the state of Texas, based partially on the law that Bush himself signed into law 3 years ago, and every dimpled ballot was counted. Every one of them.
Exactly.
And there was no big song and dance. And in addition to which, it was the Republican candidate who challenged the outcome. He's the one that demanded the recount.
Whenever it's convenient for them.
Whenever it's convenient, they like dimples, and when they don't like it, they call them zips.
There you go.
Have a great day, pal.
Hey, you too.
Good luck to us. Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think we got a zithead in charge. Oh, yeah, these dimpled ballots, pregnant chads, it's a joke. It's a joke when somebody beside them is trying to get the vote counted. But when it's to their benefit, well, I mean, that's the American effort way. Just like the recount in New Mexico. And they find it very suspicious, all these undervotes there. But the undervotes here, well, that's fine because they know most of those would have gone to Gore. You're a bunch of liars and hypocrites, you Bush people, you. Liars and hypocrites. I mean, you're entitled to be for whoever you want, but don't try to pretend to us that he's on the side of the people and that he trusts people and not big government. He's strictly a shill for daddy who's pretending to be in this big fishing tournament. Yeah, he's fishing for the White House. That's what he's fishing for. He keeps sticking his hook in the water, hoping they'll bring the keys up to the goddamn kingdom. That's what they're looking for. Because they want back in. Wouldn't surprise me to see Papa and Martha Washington trying to knock that door down this weekend. I'm serious. I can just see that right now on Saturday Night Live. The two of them try to bang the goddamn door down. And, of course, W won't be there yet because nobody showed him where Washington was yet on the map. 20 before 11 at 560 WQAM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
The right wing stole the election from me, but my last chance for a recount will be David Boyd. David Boyd. Talking about David Boyd now. Yes, David Boyd. After birth will now be the leader of the world, thanks to Gabby Harris, Jed's little girl. Yes, David Boyd. I need David Boyd. Help me, David Boyd. Go make some legal noise. Talking about David Boyd now. Talking about David Boyd now. Yeah. David Boyd. Yeah. David Boyd. David Boyd now. Make some legal noise. David Boyd. Now from David Boyd Jr. was sitting at the children's section during Thanksgiving.
1046 at 560 WQM. So again, here's another lie by the Republicans. They put an ad, now what was it, in the Washington Post?
I don't know exactly. One of those Washington newspapers.
Probably in the Washington Post. Or maybe it was in the Washington Times. Isn't that the right wing? Whatever. Some goddamn newspaper to find a bunch of right-wingers who would come down here, put them up at the Pier 66 Hotel. Those were your Republican agitators at the Miami-Dade courthouse. Those are the ones that or whatever the hell it was, the federal building. I wasn't here. Who the hell knows where they're counting? screaming, "Let us in! Stop the vote! Let us in!" There was the one guy, I'm sure most of you have seen the tape, they've shown it 6,000 times already. The one guy with the glasses and kind of the big head of blonde wavy hair, his head kept spinning around. I thought he was doing a Linda Blair. I thought he was auditioning for Exorcist Part 3. God, just hysterical. Let us in! Let us in! It was all orchestrated, they were all shipped in, and the next day they put him back on a bus and so shipped him up to Broward. Didn't do quite so well up there. Oh, no, we had nothing to do with this, and we weren't trying to disrupt the vote. Right! Run out the clock. That's what it's all about. Run out the effing clock. And they paid him how much a day?
$30 a day, all expenses paid trip, room and board, gourmet turkey dinner.
Oh, and speaking of that, I almost forgot there was a guy who sent me, this guy was paid. I don't want to dig it out of the basket because I'd be tempted to use his name on here. Some green Tulio. He was paid to be in there in a protest with the log cabin Republicans, which I guess you don't know, it's a bunch of maricones, but at any rate, yeah, he sends me the picture. There's his puss in the newspaper, and he circles it. He says, I was paid to be there.
He spelled it wrong, but...
Nah, he's one of your people. What do you expect? He's probably the guy that stole Al's necklace. Here's a mobile in Palm Beach. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How do you think Vice President Gore did serving his term over the last 8 years?
Well, what does that mean?
Well, do you think he did a good job?
Yes. Yes.
I think Clinton did a good job. I'm just curious what you thought.
Why would we discuss that? I mean, whereas the election coming up now, isn't this stuff that we discussed before the election?
Well, the reason why...
What's the point of having the campaign all over again?
I was just curious why he's struggling to win the national popular vote.
Because he has... Is this the same guy that
he won the national popular vote?
He won the national popular vote by almost 1/3 votes, you bozo. This is the same asshole that called yesterday with his AP vote, the double talker. Let me say it again. He won by almost 1/3 votes, which isn't much out of 101 million, but still it's a substantial number. It's sure better than 573.
Considering the Republicans spent more than 4 to 1 what the Democrats did during the campaign.
Yeah, and the fact is he's got a personality like a dead man, and also the fact is that the Republicans pull every string possible to try to get Daddy's boy in there. And you already know that. See, I hate to break the news to you, sir, but there's not much point in those kind of conversations unless it makes you feel good, unless you're squeezing it real hard while you're on the phone, which he's probably still squeezing it, nothing's happening. Because most of us have already voted. Now, Palm Beach, there is some slight chance they may vote again, which I think would really be delicious. I think that would be fantastic. Can you see if they finally rule that the Florida Supreme Court, and they're having that hearing this afternoon at 3 or 4 o'clock to see if they're actually going to. They haven't agreed to hear that case, but they're going to have a court hearing to hear whether they're going to hear it.
The party we would throw.
The party we would throw in. And then you can just see W come on there and concede before. Well, let's not go through this election. We might as well concede right now. And it was a nice try, and to hear the keys back, even though you didn't give them to us in the first place.
They let them revote the country.
You think they're going to refund the money? All those people that are giving them the $5,000 so they can go get their plush digs for their transition thing? They just make it up as they go along. They're so concerned about the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment and that this vote, if it's recounted, is more valuable than your vote, which, of course, is an absolute lie because, like I said before, he already signed into law in his own state 3 years ago the hand recount, which they just did. One of his state representative candidates who lost, Republican, dimples and all. They talk out of not just both sides of their mouth, but both sides of their rectum. And it would have been so much better. And the media, of course, they love it. Oh, here's James Baker again, and here's Warren Christopher. They give him some oxygen. They love it because it fills up all this time. But if we had a responsible media, they would have said, you know something, all you people keep your spokesman off our networks. We're not giving you any time. We're going to let the courts decide all of these things. We'll report what's happening in the courts, and that's it. But, of course, that's not good showbiz. It's much better to keep putting James Baker on there every half hour. Looks like he's about ready to have a Dick Cheney. He's got that Hermann Goering look on his face, you know? Those effing Jews, they're at it again, trying to screw us over in Palm Beach. That's why Papa Bush is busy fishing right now. He's pretty pissed off. He's trying to catch the big one. Here's a call from Tampa. Hello.
Yeah, you know, the same thing now has occurred that has come out here, happened in Seminole County, happened in Martin County with the absentees. The Republicans were allowed to come in and fix the errors on them so they would be valid. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Democrats' absentees that were not correct sat in a big pile and were never taken care of.
Uh-huh.
That's a new one. But you know who our next president's going to be?
When we get the electors picked by the legislature, the Florida legislature, that'll be the Bush electors. When Gore is recertified as the winner of Florida, there'll be a set of electors for Gore. Neither will be able to be seated at the Electoral College, so it'll go to Congress.
Strom Thurmond.
You got it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who they'll pick as vice president? Trent Lott.
Trent Lott. Strom Thurmond and Trent Lott. There you go. That's a nice progressive pair of guys.
So Strom kicks off about 6 months a year down the road.
Yeah.
Trent Lott's our president.
I say that we have Strom do a William Henry Harrison, get inaugurated in pouring rain and get pneumonia.
Maybe we could waste him away in Margaritaville.
And then we can find out that what's really in Trent's closet.
Bye.
Have a great day. Yeah, remember all that business about Trent Lott?
Just a couple of pom-poms, nothing else.
Yeah, he was a cheerleader, Trent Lott. And he's also one of these real homophobic right-wingers. What does that tell you, huh? Yeah. Let me say it again, all you kids out there, throughout your life, anytime you run into one of these real homophobic right-wingers, that's the faggot right there that you're looking at. You're looking them right in their puss. Just look them straight in the face and say, brown. Yeah, that's right. Because you're looking right at it. Rectum. At the evil brown eye. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
2 days ago on Monday Night Football,
2 days ago?
No, 2 days ago on
Yeah.
Monday Night Football, Al Michaels calls Catherine Harris an American heroine. Why?
Al Michaels said that?
Yes, Al Michaels calls her an American heroine.
What business has he got talking about politics on Monday Night Football? Who cares about his politics?
Okay. Well, why? Why is he calling her a heroine? Because of her hyper-technical reading of Florida law?
Because he likes her eyelashes, I guess.
Well, if that's the case, and if that's going to be...
I say she ought to get 100 lashes, is what I say.
If that's going to be the standard, fine.
Well, what is Al Michaels talking about politics for?
But Ms. Harris should be consistent with her standard. And
Ms. Harris is the same one that said to all the counties, if the overseas ballots don't have a postmark, they must not be counted. No exceptions.
Right. Well, there's a man by the name of Dean Ray who ran for mayor in Sanford, Florida. And he submitted 900 petitions to the election supervisor in Seminole County, Republican Sandy Gord. Those petitions were rejected because some of the petitions did not contain crucial information. He requested to fill them out, include the missing information. She refused, saying that this is public property, you cannot have them back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fast forward to October 2000, when the same Sandy Gord, who's a Republican, called Republican operative Mike Leach and let him come into her office and fill out 4,700 absentee ballots that she was going to throw out. These ballots she was going to throw in the garbage because they were missing crucial information.
Right.
Yet she allowed this guy to fill in this information. Now, according to state law, this is illegal. It's a third-degree felony.
And we ought to point out that every one of those was for Bush.
Exactly. There were the 4,700 GOP ballots. State law says that the only people that can fill out absentee ballots are the elector, the elector's immediate family, and the elector's legal guardian.
We're psychiatrists, right.
Mr. Leach is not one of them. And he filled them out. It's a third-degree felony. It's a ticking time bomb because this issue is going to be heard next Wednesday in Leon County.
Right.
If the court rules for the plaintiff and those ballots are excluded, Gore will win by 4,000 votes.
Game over.
What will Ms. Harris have to say about that? Where's the consistency, Ms. Harris? Yeah.
That's what you'll be saying. Okay, calm down. Take two and calm down. Take some Primasec. What is that? Prilosec? Prilosec. And I'm not taking Prilosec, I should mention. Although that's okay. He gave me Prevacid, which I guess is very similar. Oh, they got so many drugs in my doctor. He doesn't, they pick stuff out of the closet. Here, try these. Maybe these will help. Here's a fax from Michael who says Dewey at the end of the fax. Good dog. Says, I ordered a keychain via the internet, order number so-and-so, October 6th, still no keychain. We better pass this along to Miguel.
I will, and we might want to take this time to mention, because I get a lot of calls off the air, people busting my balls over it. This is a promotions department thing at this point.
Yeah.
We produce the disc, they distribute it, I can't help them, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, but they put their money up, and they would, plus, of course,
they'll give them the right number and everything like that, but still.
They want to get the good stuff.
The number to call and complain is the same number that you called to order.
Right.
305-650-0156.
0156. Call up Miguel and bitch him out. He's got nothing to do in there anyway. Plus, he's all alone in there now. Not that the nephew is gone. Do we have a new promotions?
No.
No new promotion director. Well, why should we do that? We might have to actually pay somebody if we did that. 10:56 at 560 WQS.
Jeb Bush. I got the move.
See you later, Ralph Nader. You messed the whole election up. See you later, Ralph Nader. You messed the whole election up. Go buy yourself a new suit, man. And drop dead, you stupid schmuck. You got your name on the ballot, and you never had a chance. You put your name on the ballot, the way you ever had a chance. With Bill Donahue, and the man that'll bring your hand. Thanks to you, the right-wingers, so the election fair and square. And now the Nazi right-winger, so the election fair and square. Nobody votes for a guy who drives a 65 for air. See you later, Ralph Nader. You messed the whole election up. See you later, Ralph Nader. You messed the whole election up. Go buy yourself a new suit, man, and drop dead, you stupid schmuck. See you later, Ralph Nader. Drive or take at any speed. Go drive your Corvette 8213.
It's 11:03 at 560 WQAM. Yeah, the courts are gearing up. CNN tells us the Supreme Court of the U.S. is gearing up. The Florida Supreme Court is gearing up. The other courts are gearing up. And they're gearing up. And Dick Cheney, they're trying to gear up his heart for a press conference at 2 o'clock, or a something at 2 o'clock. Every time I see him, I hate to say this, even though he is a real right-wing prick, but every time I see him on there, I think, you know something, he's going to have a heart attack. Right? Remember that girl that went up in the plane? What the hell was her name, that little 7-year-old girl that was flying the plane?
Oh, how can we forget?
And I told you I had a premonition about that she was going to die up there, and she did. Plane crashed. They let this little girl fly the plane. I mean, Daddy was in there, I guess, or somebody. He was in the back getting drunk. And in a driving rainstorm, remember that in Wisconsin or somewhere? Well, she had to go to the next stop because, they were making a big PR thing of it. And you know what? She's still dead. What the hell was her name? Somebody in the audience will know. The little girl that flew the plane. And every time I see Cheney on it, I think, oh, I don't think he's going to make it. I'm waiting for that moment when it's going to be, like that. And see, you can't say he's a heartbeat away from the presidency if Bush gets in, because his heart ain't beating most of the time. He's like kind of a heart skip and a jump away.
The blood test and the EKG said that it wasn't a heart attack.
Yeah, you're lying. How do you like that? It wasn't a heart attack. It was just some, like that fag's got down there in Miami. He just had some bad gas.
He's not insured for that
bad gas, that's all. He'll get out of the system. Take some of that crap, the doctor. Get some pills from the Dick doctor. From Dr. Dick. Here's Coconut Creek. Hello.
Hey, Coconut Creek. How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy your show. Been down here like 6 months, and I hate the politics down here in Florida.
This place we can't do anything right. But at least we're consistent, but we can't do a damn thing right.
Yeah. A couple of comments, right? I heard G.W. Bush and Cheney talked about reconciliation, and if things go their way, which I hope they don't, they're talking about electing a Democrat to the cabinet.
Yeah.
What's your take on the possibilities of who they would actually look at? What's your spin on that?
Probably somebody real liberal like Bob Crawford, or maybe Jim Nagel from Fort Lauderdale, our mayor. Somebody like that. Some right-wing fascist masquerading as a Democrat.
Okay, then. And you know what? I'd like to say one thing. I'm not too confident in the Supreme Court making a favorable decision for Gore. I consider him probably partisan to the Republican Party, right?
Yeah.
I just don't think the chances look good. I think our probably only hope hinges on maybe a possible Justice Department investigation, then possibly Bush would probably be in office by then, right? And
but what's going to happen when they find out about that abortion, though? When that comes out about a month after he gets in and the Inquirer pops the story, what'll happen then?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I'm just thinking he's looking at to get into office and make a couple of changes. I don't think they're going to stay in there long because somebody's going to, talk. Somebody's going to
talk the talk. Okay, let's cross our fingers, pal.
All right.
And hang on tight. And you know what's going to happen if that would happen and Bush had to, step aside? You know what we'd have?
Another dick in the White House?
That's right. With a bad dick with a bad tick. This is pathetic. It's really sad. And you people are taking this all serious. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it again. If it weren't for the fact that we've got this danger, this tremendous philosophical danger, that's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with these people, because these people are less than insignificant. They're pathetic. Each and every one of them has become a caricature of himself, of itself. Jew Lieberman, that whimpering, simpering, God on his sleeve, where's the halava, this guy, and the cigar store Indian who, no matter what the circumstances, you could put him in a goddamn oven, and he still couldn't muster up any warmth. And Dumbo, the deer in the headlights, oh geez, did I really get it? This guy, yeah, we're moving in. How do I get there? Where do I find it on the map? And then this virulent right-wing Nazi, Papa's boyfriend, Dick. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Did you see Papa Bush? He had a little remote control. He controls his son. I think you see him. He goes, now turn left and walk towards the thing. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, you know how they have the new maps, the automated thing in the car, so that you set the map and it'll get. I think that's what he's going to do to get him to Washington.
Exactly. He's going to find his way. Listen, so another thing, they had him on TV this morning. What a joke he is. I mean, you could tell it was one of those, I'm not going to talk about this, I'm not going to talk about that.
Yeah, he's busy fishing.
Say this,
he's got his hook in the water, right.
And they asked him about Bush's drunken driving. Remember, his W got arrested for drunken driving?
Yeah.
Told him not to drink, not to drive, did it. Got caught, sent him to his room 3 days.
Yeah.
Crying like a baby. He'll never do it again.
Don't do it again.
Learn his lesson. Gotta go.
Okay, go catch a good one, Papa. Papa Bush. It's just astonishing to me how stupid half of this country can be. Not that Gore's any prize, and certainly Jew Lieberman. But we just got through saying no to a Papa Bush 8 years ago because he was a mitigated disaster. Lied through his teeth. Read my lips. I'm full of crap. You can almost smell it. Yeah. Left goddamn Saddam sitting over there on his ass so that we can start all over again. A disaster. Left us with all that gigantic debt. High unemployment. Here we are 8 years later. Everything's going along so much better. Oh, but Sonny Boy, who's 50 times dumber than Daddy ever could be if he tried, he's the answer. I still don't get it. For the life of me, I don't understand why any of you voted for George W. I know I voted for Gore to keep W out. But why any of you voted for this cretin, for this self-described massive mediocrity, beats the hell out of me.
At least his running mate wasn't a Jew.
That's true. Ain't no Jew. Hey, don't forget to stop by the Pack Mail at 965 Nob Hill Road in Plantation for all your shipping needs this holiday season. Mention Neil Rogers, get 10% off, and they're doing a great job of handling our stuff. At least I think they're doing a great job, based on that one fact. Now they are, for Planned Parenthood this year.
This is a bunch of hooey. I could really go for some popcorn right now, but I'm nowhere near a microwave.
You don't need to be.
Sure I do. How am I going to pop it?
Here, I'll show you. Have a seat. Now slide this right under you.
Oh, hey, whoa, watch it there.
Now hold real still, think nice thoughts, and in 5 minutes you'll have poppin' fresh Heine corn.
Heine corn?
Yeah, it's great. Heine corn pops up fresh with the warmth of your very own ass.
Whoa, hey, that feels really weird.
Yeah, never mind that.
Let go.
Unless you like it, of course. Sit still and hold tight.
It's a little pumpy here. Ow.
Ooh, tiny corn. Quick, easy, and right from your own ass. It's 11:14 at 560 WQAM. Have another handful. Here's the latest from Palm Beach County. Judge George LaBarga, that little judge. He's sent in the 3,600 disputed ballots only at this time. That's what the Democrats requested, and he said, okay, here you go. The 3,600 ballots, as we speak, are on their way to Leon County, to Tallahassee, to that hanging judge up there. What the hell is his name? Judge Sauls. And he's also left the door open if they want all 400,000 from Palm Beach. Well, they can get those too. Maybe later on down the road, like in about a half an hour. But in the meantime, 3,600 disputed ballots are on their way to the judge up there in Leon County. Can you hear the sounds of the Green Apple Quick Step from the Bush people? Don't strain too hard, Dick. Uh-oh. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello, Neil. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I just have an idea. I've been calling several of the congressmen around here, Senator Granham. You know that...
Senator who?
Senator Granham.
Granham, okay.
I called him in the D.C. office, and I just have an idea. I came up with this idea, and I hope it's helpful, since the Republicans are putting so much spin into this here. I think that the Democrat has to do the right thing, and since Carter's sent to many countries to monitor the election, he should be sent to Florida to monitor the votes over here, and that would tell the American people that there is something definitely wrong in South Florida. And I hope that your viewers will consider this and call their congressman or whatever. Thank you anyway.
Okay, and say hi to Senator Granham. 567-0560. Pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Look at that, the NASDAQ's up to almost 20 points. What happened there? Looks like we're in for another big slide. Nobody knows. It's kind of like going sideways, down sideways, you know what I mean? It's in a holding pattern, but on a downward spiral. Kind of like our lives. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Will.
Yes, sir.
How are you doing?
Okay.
Just wanted a couple of issues with you, and you know, obviously I'm on the other side of this, but
what do you mean? Obviously, why is it obvious?
Because I'm going to disagree with you, but you know, we can have a conversation. First of all, on the 10,000 or 700 or 11,000, whatever, undervoted ballots in Miami.
Yeah.
You know, there's also the total amount of the state was over 100,000 undervoted ballots, and for the country, there's over 1 million.
Yeah.
So are we going to start counting all of those as well?
No, you don't understand that the Bush people had a right. In fact, they got recounts, hand recounts in 6 different counties. They picked up almost 100 votes in Seminole County. I think it was 98. 100 votes in Polk County. And
but you know, the Democrats. Go ahead.
The Democrats had a right to have those votes counted. They requested specifically hand counts in Seminole, Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade counties. They had a right. They had a legal right to have all of those votes counted. Those votes, other than the 2 times they ran through the machine and they were never counted because the machine couldn't read them, they've never been counted even once. The Republicans...
There's over 100,000, 120,000 to be exact for the whole state.
So then why did the Republicans refuse Gore's...
Over 1 million for the whole country.
No,
the difference
but the whole country isn't at dispute. The state of Florida is going to decide the election.
But wouldn't you see the mess, and you were one that was advocating in the future to go to a popular vote, wouldn't you see the mess that we would have right now if you had a popular vote with 1 million? You would have the same...
not if we had... because I also at the same time believe not only should we have a popular vote, we shouldn't be doing paper ballots anymore. It should all be computerized. There isn't any reason in the world why we should be counting ballots over 3 weeks after the election.
All right, now, the next thing is...
Don't you agree with that? Can we agree on that?
Absolutely.
That this is not the way to hold an election even for dog catchers?
Absolutely.
We have the technology to do it, and they utilize it in parts of California and some of the other northwestern states. And none of this mailing in the ballots like in Oregon. It's computerized. That's all it goes. The results go to a central terminal, and they press a button when the polls are closed in that state. Here's the total for you. That's it.
I agree. We have to reevaluate that and upgrade the election system.
Because you know as well as I do, nobody's ever really going to know who won this election.
Well,
you got to agree with that.
You're probably right. But one other thing, this guy keeps on this whiner who calls every day here. He called today about the Seminole thing.
Yeah.
The Democrats in that same county sent out their absentee ballots with the numbers on them ahead of time.
Well, where did he come up with that?
They
sent out the absentee ballots with the numbers on them ahead of time?
No, not the ballots, the applications. They had the numbers on them before they sent out, so they did the same thing.
And where did you just make that up? Did Rush tell you this? Ollie North, maybe?
No, it was on the news last night.
On what news?
I believe it was on MSNBC.
MSNBC. Okay, I'm calling him up right now. I'm calling up for Chris Matthews. We can trust him.
No.
Not. Yeah. Well, they wrote it all in. You got to understand that.
Well, why aren't they in jail? Why isn't there a
I
sitting
say
for that?
throw them all in jail. I mean, do I believe what this guy just said?
No.
It's like the guy that called in. Don't you remember the day the guy was calling about how the ballots aren't secret and they have like a little computerized code on it? And I bought right into it because people can call up and say anything. I haven't voted in about 100 years up until this election. And with my luck, this is the time I decided to vote. With my luck. I'll pull today, and then this goes to show you, speaking of our luck here in Florida, stop and think about this. Which of these events, which of these grotesque, disastrous, ongoing things was the most compelling to you? Bush-Gore election, 98 out of 150. 65.3%. That just shocks the crap out of me. OJ trial, only 28, 18.5%. Alien, 13, 8.6%. And Monica Gate, only 11, 7%. Now, the thing that's most astonishing about that is we picked the four most sensational, overdone, overhyped events of the last, I don't know how long, I guess since the assassinations of the 60s. No, since Watergate. So that's almost 30 years. And 3 of them have a Florida connection. OJ, don't he live here now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Bush-Gore election, isn't this, just like I told you election morning, isn't this where the decision is all hanging in the balance? Yeah. Alien, didn't that all happen here?
Uh-huh.
And if we could just get Monica down here to give a few blowjobs, we can make it a clean sweep, 4 for 4.
Oh!
Oh, the Florida lawmakers are considering special session to pick electors.
This morning.
Over our dead body, okay? They got some freaking nerve, the Florida legislature. See, this is their ace in the hole now. If they couldn't steal it by hook or by crook by dumbing up enough votes, and if the count doesn't come out the way they want, well, you know what they'll do? They'll just go into court at the last minute, even if all the other issues have been resolved, and they'll say, okay, well, we're going to file another suit to make sure that you can't possibly come up with a resolution by December 12th, and we'll have more litigation pending, and at that case, at that point, the legislature can say, well, there's still litigation pending that hasn't been resolved, so therefore, we're going to appoint our slate of 25 Bush electors. And then that's going to have to go to the U.S. Supreme Court. This may never end. And you know what I have to say to that? Oh! Right. Good. Maybe we'll be saved after all. Here's Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Okay.
Just want to talk a couple of things. You had a caller a while back saying that those ballots, the Florida law says that you can't, only the voter can touch the absentee ballots. I guess it's in Pinellas County. But the problem is, the question at hand has nothing to do with
County, not
Seminole County. Okay. It has nothing to do with the ballots itself. It has to do with the application to obtain the ballots. What happened was, in order to obtain an absentee ballot, you have to send out an application requesting it. And there was a piece of information missing, which was the voter's ID on it. And that was hand put in there. But nobody touched the ballot. Once that application was filled out correctly, the ballot was sent to the voter, and they voted like everybody else that received an absentee ballot, or like everybody else that went out to a poll. So what they're trying to do is eliminate votes. I mean, they're saying that every vote counts. They're eliminating votes that were cast by the individual.
That case is with the black lady judge up there in Tallahassee. She'd be going to decide that one.
Yeah. Now, the other thing about the 10,700 votes in Dade County.
Yeah.
I was an observer the first day. They were counting by precinct number. You know, starting from 1 to 913 is the number of precincts. I mean, there's 600, but they're numbered from 1 to 900. And all the precincts that they counted were from the beach, which the beach just starts from 1 to 50, and then you had Overtown, you had Opalaca. They hadn't gotten to when you get to precinct 305, that's in the Miami Lakes. From then on, you get Little Havana, you get Westchester, Kendall. Gore was not good. I mean, he had only gotten 151 votes in the very heavily Democratic precinct.
So in other words, we're just going to assume that we're going to we just.
Well, no. I'm saying if you actually count all the undervotes, they were extrapolating that if you counted 10%
everything that I've read says that most of the undervotes are from the places that you mentioned first, are from Overtown and Liberty City and from.
No, there was a lot of undervotes from Little Havana because the people didn't. A lot of people were voting for the first time.
A lot of dumb green-toothed Cubans, right?
No, I mean they were voting for the first time.
Look, we can argue about where they were from. The fact is, what would have been wrong? David Leahy is the chigger in the woodpile. Once they started, they should never have stopped. They should have gone through it. It would be all over and done with. We wouldn't have to be sitting here discussing this today. I mean, wouldn't it be nice to know what the number was?
Well, what happened was, and if you also look at the transcript, when they voted on counting, the Democrats wanted just to count the undervotes. And the head of the judge, I don't remember his name, the head guy there, and he basically said, he asked the lawyer from the county, can they only do the undervotes? And then they looked at the statute, and the statute says that once you start to recount, you must count all the ballots of the county.
Mm-hmm.
And then he basically, on the record, said, well, that's clear. We cannot count just the undervotes. You have to count all the votes. What happened then that day that they had the protest?
You mean the day that they had the organized protesters who were shipped in that were screaming and killing?
Right. Okay. What happened
was well documented now, by the way.
Okay. What happened was they decided in order to get. They were looking at the undervotes. We were counting the regular ballots that were cast. The observers on the table were counting the regular ballots. They were just handling the undervotes. They had gone through a machine count, and they had a program that could pick out the undervotes, okay, and then set it aside. They only did 500 precincts. They hadn't done all the rest. So they decided that day that they were going to, even though he had said it on the record that you can't do that, he basically just changed their minds and said, well, we're only going to count the 10,000 undervotes. Then they had to go back up to the counting room and run the rest of the precincts through.
Okay, let me interrupt you for 1 second, because we had a guy yesterday that called in, and I know he's full of crap, that was saying that there were no Republicans observing.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. What happened was they had to do two things at the same time. So David Leahy or Leakey, whatever his name is, had to be upstairs running the machines at the same time looking at the ballots because they didn't have any time to do the 10,000 before the Supreme Court deadline.
Yeah.
So they decided to go upstairs, run the machines because he had to be present, and at the same time look at the ballots. But then they're violating Sunshine Law because the law says that you need to have an observer from one side and an observer from the other. And they decided to do it outside the media, presence outside.
Now, are you talking about the hand counting or the machine ballots?
No, I'm talking about they were doing both because.
Well, which one are you talking about? Are you saying they were doing both without any observers?
That's what happened. And that's the reason they stopped the hand count. David Leakey said, I can't be at two places at the same time.
It sure was convenient that we had all those agitators.
Well, basically, I mean, you're violating Florida Sunshine Law. You have to, under Florida law.
But you know something? I'll take what you say on the face of it. It's well and good. But the fact is, let me say it again.
Right.
Once they started counting, just like Broward, look what happened with Broward.
Well, then they should have counted all the ballots.
Broward changed their mind 2 or 3 times.
Right.
And finally, when they decided to do it, they went right through. They went day and night and Thanksgiving Day. And guess what? They got done in plenty of time. And here's the totals. And is there any dispute about Broward today? The answer is no.
This is 560 QAM, the Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
This is the most disgusting program. I urge everyone to complain to this station.
I've been on this diet for 2 months now, and I've already lost 22 pounds, man. It's the Ultra Blow Fast diet. You see, I eat an Ultra Blow Fast meal for breakfast and one for lunch, and 5 minutes later, I'm blowing chunks really fast. No wonder I'm losing weight. And then I sit down to a sensible dinner, and all I have to do is think about the Ultra Blow Fast tuna casserole, and I lose my appetite right away. Ultra Blow Fast. Blow chunks real fast.
27 till noon at 560 QAM. We got Hank coming up at 2. Geldy on game night from the Hard Rock Cafe, 6 o'clock tonight. Hurricanes at the Panthers, 7 o'clock pregame. Game time at 7:30 at EK after the hockey game. New Mexico elections officials yesterday issued a conditional certification of Al Gore as winner in that state's presidential contest, pending a final review of disputed ballots in one county. Guess who's disputing the ballots? The Republicans.
No, you making that up.
The Bush people. The same people who say, wah, wah, what are you crying about? Sore loserman, wah. They're crying about New Mexico. And wait till you hear how stupid this is. The state canvassing board said Gore's 483-vote margin would not be certified till tomorrow, Thursday, after a judge in Roosevelt County can review the status of 570 disputed ballots that were not counted for either candidate. Republicans said the 10% undervote in Roosevelt County was significantly higher than in other New Mexico counties and asked for another check. Where's the check? But you do understand, keep the math in mind. There's 570 disputed ballots. Gore's ahead by 483. You know how many votes of the 570 Bush would have to win to overtake the 483? About 530. I think it's like 527, 28. About 530 out of 570 votes. Is there any chance that's going to happen?
No.
Is there a Chinaman's chance in hell that's going to happen?
No.
But, just to be on the safe side, they still want to recount. For New Mexico's big, fat 5 electoral votes. So like I've said a million times when the shoe is... And you know, the one thing that they all say, if the circumstances were exactly reversed, if it was Gore ahead by 537 votes in Florida, you can bet your bottom dollar they would be screaming and hollering and carrying on just the same way the Democrats are doing right now. There is absolutely no difference. And one thing you must keep in mind, they hate each other like poison. It's not just Bush against Gore. It's the Bush people. It's Baker and Cheney and all of Papa Bush's people against Clinton Gore. I mean, Gore is small potatoes. It's the 8 years of Bubba. It's Bubba that they hate. That's why we had to spend $70 million of your taxpayer money and flush it down the toilet with Penisgate and Travelgate and every other goddamn gate that they tried to come up with and still couldn't make it work. White water and black water and brown water from the canals in Amsterdam. Yeah, from my split-level toilet. They hate each other like poison, and don't ever forget it. Here's Deerfield. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
The one thing we have going for us is that David Boies is on a roll with his litigation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. He won this tremendous class action antitrust lawsuit against Sotheby's and Christie's about 3-4 months ago, where he just completely turned the whole art world upside down, where, broke up a monopoly. So
right.
You have someone who's just a brilliant.
And don't forget Bill Gates. He brought that midget to his knees, too.
So, he is on a tremendous roll, and let's hope it continues. And, you got to pray a little if you have anyone to pray to.
Neil, God!
That's right.
Yeah.
And can I call somebody a Pufka?
567-0560, pound 560. Look at the faxes are just pouring in here. Look at this. Just crap. And more crap. Oh, look at this. The Dutch, as they continue moving light years ahead of our society, the Dutch take steps to make assisted suicide legal. Oh! As opposed to like the Bush people. Remember the comment he made in one of the debates?
All of them.
No, but the comment about assisted suicide, about helping the elderly to end their lives prematurely. All this bullcrap. See, that's all they care about, is the unborn fetus and the old people that want to die. That's the only life that they care about. Anything in between that, it's like, who cares? Big joke. Lawmakers in the Netherlands, often in the vanguard of European social change, voted yesterday their nation the first in the world where doctor-assisted suicide is legal. A euthanasian law underway, and that's too bad because this fax didn't come out right. There's words missing. Under which the considered something dying person to put an end to his days is granted, has something else in a mature society. Wouldn't it be great if I had the rest of that page? Maybe somebody will refax it to me. A patient would have to make the request voluntarily when of sound mind and independent, etc., and so on. Doctors are not supposed to suggest suicide as an option. But if they want it, well, there you go. Next. See, those people are civilized. Well, not the people, the government. The people are a bunch of barbarians, and they're rude and obnoxious, and their food sucks. But other than that, it's a great country. No, I think it's good, though, that I point those things out, because I'm not going there with Rose, colored glasses on. Oh, it's Al that's going there with Rose. No, she won't go there.
Not anymore.
No. She would just, rub it on her cheek. Anyway.
Take the money now.
Yeah. Al, you're not fooling anybody, okay, sweetheart? You're not fooling anybody. All these beards that you're wasting all that money on. You could be flying first class on a real airline instead of wasting money schlepping all these beards around. We know you're crawling around on your hands and knees and looking at glory holes and, hanging out in the goddamn dark room at the Adonis. There's nothing wrong with that. 22 before noon at 560 QAM.
This is 560 QAM.
Get the best of Neil Rogers 2000.
The benefit for Planned Parenthood.
Just go to a Specs Music Store near you or WQAM.com on the net. The best of Neil 2000 with great hits like...
So, Paula Jones, you got a new nose. That don't impress me much.
And who could forget the Neil Rogers keychain with great sound effects like...
It puts the lotion in the basket.
That's the American fucking way.
Oh, those timeless classics. The best of Neil Rogers 2000 from Sports Radio 560 QAM.
That was a 2-hour blowjob.
Wow. Hey, how you doing, honey? This is Bill Clinton, the President of the United States, and this is my State of the Women address. I've known a few girls who thought they were pretty hot, but Billy's here to tell you that, girl, you're not. They used to wear makeup and rip away pants, but when they looked at me, they were under my trance. Whoa, you think you're special? Whoa, you think you're something else? So, Paula Jones, you got a new nose. That don't impress me much. Well, you got the brain, but have you got the touch? Now, don't get me wrong, well, I think you're alright, but that won't keep you warm in the middle of the night. That don't impress me much. Let's move along, shall we? I think you'll remember this one. She had a tape recorder that she kept on her phone, and after she ate steak, she would bury the bone. She got herself some lipo and a tummy tuck, but she's still as ugly as a hockey puck. Whoa, she's like she's something special. Whoa, she's like she's something else. So, Linda Tripp got some surgery. That don't impress me much. Well, you got the brain, but have you got the touch? Now, don't get me wrong, yeah, I think you're alright, but that won't keep me warm in the middle of the night. That don't impress me much. I forgot me, buddy. Oh, yeah, how about this next one? A big, chunky girl with a purple beret. That damn Gap dress nearly put me away. Little secret meetings in the corridor. I could have taught Wilt Chamberlain how to score. Whoa, shake, 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 shake. Whoa, shake, shake, shake. So, Monica, you lost 40 pounds. That don't impress me much. Well, you got the ring, but have you got the touch? Now, don't get me wrong, well, I think you're alright, but that won't keep me warm in the middle of the night. That don't impress me much. I'm saving the best for last. Well, I tried to cut the brakes on her car. No offense, but I think I'd rather sleep with Kenneth Starr. When she gives birth, I think her offspring should hatch big old legs and an ass to match. She thinks she's special. She thinks she's something else. So, Hillary, you're going to be a senator from New York. That don't impress me much. Well, you got the brains, but have you got the touch? Don't get me wrong, well, I think you're alright, but that won't keep me warm in the middle of the night. That don't impress me much. Thank you. That is my State of the Women address. I love you.
Wait till you hear this. From the Boston Globe. Now that Hillary Clinton's been elected as New York's new U.S. Senator, how about this for a still more dazzling follow-up? Bill Clinton is the next mayor of New York City.
Oh!
A rumor's been floating around for a few weeks that President Clinton, once his term expires, might take a shot at running in the city's November 2001 mayoral election. Yesterday, the idea took on added conversational value, if not actual currency, when it appeared as the main item in Neil Travis's political gossip column in the New York Post. White House spokesman Jake Seward, asked about the rumor at his daily press conference, replied, he already has the second toughest job in America, so why would he want the first? Hillary Clinton, appearing on ABC TV's Good Morning America to promote a new book about the White House, laughed off the notion. That's not going to happen, she said. My husband is looking forward to a change of pace and a different kind of life. Without her. Nevertheless, the idea of both Clintons serving New York is irresistibly exciting for many people here. Even Peter Vallone, Speaker of the City Council, who has announced his own intentions of running for mayor, said yesterday they would be New York's ultimate power couple. I hope he runs for mayor of Boston instead. A top aide to one of the Democratic hopefuls who asked not to be identified said he wins in a heartbeat. New York City loves him. Oh! How do you like that? I say blowjobs for everybody in New York. Oh! Here's a fact that says after, and we already have been through this, but it can never hurt to, because it's confusing. After massive absentee ballot fraud during the 1998 Miami mayor's race, anybody remember that one?
Uh-huh.
The Florida legislature passed a statute making it illegal to request an absentee ballot for a third party unless you are in his immediate family or his guardian. Violation of this law is a third-degree felony. There it is, plain and simple. We've had that on before. George had it on while I was on vacation. I'm reading it to you because somebody was nice enough to fax it as a reminder again. That's the law. Violation is a third-degree felony, as in with an F. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
All right.
Few things I want to point out how dumb W is. If you watched the press conference he had the other night claiming his victory, he goes, well, me and Dick has now acquired Florida's electoral votes to give us the needed requirement. Then he was trying to do the damn math in his head, right? He realized he didn't know how much he actually had with Florida's 25. So he goes, well, it gives us the needed electoral votes to win.
Yeah.
Did anybody catch that by a chance?
Yeah, I saw it. Well, he was so busy looking petrified and terrified and just like ghostly.
And another thing, Bush might not be so anti-abortion after all. Guess why? Hello?
I'm listening, sir.
He's about to have that pregnant child have another abortion.
Okay.
All right.
From what we hear, wouldn't be the first one he's had his finger in. 5670560, pound 560. Maureen Dowd's got a great column which several people have faxed it to me. I guess I might as well read it, shouldn't I? Because it's so damn good. She's the best. President-elect Mini-Me has not yet started gnawing on his cat as the Austin Powers Mini-Me did the hairless Mr. Bigglesworth, but W is starting to weird me out. Why is our kind of sort of chief executive the low man on his own totem pole? We knew that his political nannies told him stuff only on a need-to-know basis, but now that the guy is seconds away from the White House, we learned that his handlers deal with him on a need-not-to-know basis. Last week in Austin, our wannabe President George Bush, miniature clone of President George Bush, happily told reporters that Dick Cheney had had no heart attack. The hospital, the Cheney family, and Mr. Bush's press aide, Karen Hughes, knew that Mr. Cheney had that morning undergone a heart procedure, but Ms. Hughes did not tell that to her boss before he spoke so woefully and ignorantly about Mr. Cheney's condition. When the election ended, Mini-Me was shocked that he had not won in a landslide. His strategist apparently had failed to inform him that things were getting tight, just as they hadn't alerted him that he was cratering in New Hampshire. Did they not trust him with the information, fearing he might get cranky? Presidents get dangerously insulated in the White House, but this boy's in a bubble before he even gets to the Oval bubble. Sure, Al Gore, a.k.a. Monsieur Tussaud, is an insufferable maniac for detail who hates delegating his engineering every move in Florida. Like Ahab, he's so consumed with absurd attempts to prove he's actually won Florida by 9 votes that one friend described him to the AP's Sonia Sobaraj as a lost soul. But Mini-Me seems lost because he isn't consumed enough with nailing down and planning his presidency. The grown-ups keep sending him off to play. They know he doesn't like messes, so he doesn't do serious stuff well, and he can't follow up answers except to refer reporters to James Baker, his Manchurian operator. So it's best to let him go fool around at the ranch or go to the gym for 3-hour workouts while they take care of complicated stuff like the Supreme Court and the Trump-Lowell transition while they try to restore Poppy's White House to its original glory, as lovingly as though it were Da Vinci's Last Supper. The usual case would have been for Dick Cheney to go to all the funerals and George Bush to do all the work, says Rahm Emanuel, a former Clinton advisor, but it's turning out the other way around. Cheney needs a patient's Bill of Rights. Mr. Cheney was the most reluctant of campaigners, but now we're in the Cheney ascendancy. The Bush team hurried him out of his hospital bed to the microphones because they know he sounds reassuring and mature. During the campaign, W had a swagger, a John Wayne gunslinger pose. But now when he comes out to face the cameras, he blinks and shrinks, looking tremulous and frightened, dwarfed by American flags. He struggles to exude authority. He furrows his brow, trying to look more sagacious, but he ends up looking as if he has indigestion. Appearing confused at his own speech, he seems like a first-grade actor in a production of James and the Giant Peach. Are his blinks Morse code for, oh man, don't let that teleprompter break? Republicans sanguinely compare him to Ronald Reagan, but at least President Reagan had the gift of reassurance before the camera. It's telling that CNN's Candy Crowley, who covers the Texas governor, is not only better on TV, but much harder working and better informed than her subject. Karen Hughes tried to make Mini-Me appear statesmanlike by saying that while no foreign leaders had called to congratulate W, he had placed a call to congratulate Vicente Fox on his upcoming unclouded inauguration as president of Mexico. Whenever he seems callow, W cleaves to his friendly neighbors to the south to show international flair. Asked yesterday why Mini-Me had retreated yet again to the Waco Ranch, Ms. Hughes said it was a tranquil place where it's easy to do some thinking and reflecting. Nice try. Mini-Me is not Proust in the brambles. W does not seem to grasp that the president can't delegate the presidency itself. Of course, his aides might not have told him that yet. Writes Maureen Dowd in the Times. Nice going, Maureen. Oh, God. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T Verizon wireless line. 207 votes on our poll today. Which of these events was the most compelling to you? The Bush Gore election, 125 out of 207, 60.3%. OJ trial, only 45, 21.7%. Alien, only 19, 9%. And Monica and Penisgate, only 18, 8.6%. So obviously, because this is going on right now, these people have very short memories. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I think once they pass that...
Oh, wait a minute. Joe Lieberman on CNN's Larry King Live at 9 o'clock tonight after they finish off the Halava. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think that once they pass that law, we should get Dick Cheney a one-way ticket to the Netherlands. What do you think?
Not a bad idea.
I think he needs some assistance, too.
Uh-huh.
Anyhow.
It looks like from Maureen Dowd's column that I just read, maybe the Bush people will help him, give him a helping hand right in the ground.
And we'll all help. I did hear, I was watching Geraldo last night, and I did hear something about the request the Democrats had. The Republican congressman said there was a computer glitch, and that's why they didn't have their voter ID numbers printed on the ballot, and the Democrats did. And that it's just a technicality, and the vote didn't be counted.
First of all, it wasn't the ballots, it was the applications that they're talking about, not the ballots themselves.
Right, the applications.
Yeah.
You can't put that on there ahead of time.
Well,
don't confuse them with the facts,
that's what they were,
what
that's
do you
what they were
saying. Just watch them. They already did it.
Well, that's what they were saying. I
yeah.
mean, who knows? You know, who knows what we're hearing is true or not. But
well, you just wait till that black broad up there, that judge in Leon County, she's going to straighten their ass out on that, on those 4,700 ballots.
When in doubt, throw them all out.
Okay.
Bye, Neil.
Have a great day. What did he say? Anybody know what he said? Well, he's been watching too much Geraldo. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town. Open line. West Coast. They don't give a crap. Well, we're going off in 5 minutes or anyway for an hour. 877-785-6345. Here's Pompano Beach. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Bush started this thing against the court in Florida by saying we have separation of powers, and this was an administrative matter. When a legislative body or anybody starts holding on to power long after they shouldn't, the courts have had to step in. I would like to remind Governor Bush or anybody else that cares to pursue this, that in recent years, very important things the courts have overturned what the legislature has done.
Yes.
Let's start with Brown versus Board of Education.
Yes.
For instance.
Yes.
It started with that.
Uh-huh.
Now, within the state of Florida, one man, one vote did not come to South Florida until one person, one vote, of course, until 1967, when the people that won 66 elections were even thrown out and they had to re-elect people.
Okay, well, listen, take two and call me in the morning.
This is 560 QAM.
Start licking. Okay, 1201 at 560 WQM. Happy Wednesday to you. Experts say Seminole suit won't jail Gord. But this article, I appreciate all these faxes coming in, kind of clarifies the situation with those absentee ballots and the application for same in Seminole County. A lawsuit accuses Seminole County Supervisor of Elections Sandy Gord of voter fraud, a felony that could send her to prison for 5 years. But is she likely to be prosecuted?
No.
Say prosecutors and legal experts, no. And at this point, it doesn't appear as if anyone wants her prosecuted. Jonathan Abity, one of the attorneys suing her, says the goal is not to send Gord to prison, it's to repair the damage done. The suit is to ask that all 15,000 Seminole absentee ballots be thrown out. Chris White, chief of operations at the state attorney's office in Seminole, said Tuesday that a criminal complaint has not been filed against Gord, and based on his reading of the law, he's not sure what law she broke. Gord's attorney, Donna McIntosh, called the allegations outrageous and unfounded. Under state law, it's illegal to buy or sell absentee votes. It's illegal to mark someone else's absentee ballot. It's also illegal to ask for an absentee ballot if you're not the voter or member of his or her immediate family. No one is accusing Gord of anything like that. The suit filed November 17 by Longwood Democrat Harry Jacobs accuses her of following a GOP employee and of allowing a GOP employee and a GOP volunteer to work out of her office for forms. The forms were supposed to include voter identification numbers. The GOP operatives wrote in those numbers on several thousand requests. When Gord first received the cards, she rejected them, saying the missing numbers made them invalid. However, she mailed out the ballots once they had been fixed. The lawsuit alleges it was the GOP, not the voters, that was requesting the ballots. Gord is accused of sending absentee ballots to voters who didn't request them. I certainly don't think this is the crime of the century by any stretch of the imagination, said Joseph W. Little, professor of law at the University of Florida's Levin College of Law. Bush outpolled Gore 10,006 to 5,209 among the absentee voters in Seminole. If all of them were thrown out, that would give Gore a 4,800 vote bounce, enough to win the White House. The case was transferred Monday to Tallahassee, where it's now pending in State Circuit Court. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement, an agency that's investigated many voter fraud claims, reports that most cases that result in arrest center on vote buying. For example, 5 supporters of a Lafayette County Commission candidate were convicted of trying to buy votes in 1984 for $25 and a bottle of whiskey. Gee, I wonder who those people were they were trying to, The last major vote fraud case in Florida was the 1997 Miami mayoral race. Some 57 people were charged. 4 went to jail. Many defendants were accused of voting by absentee ballot, even though they didn't live in Miami, and some of them just didn't live anywhere. Yeah, because they were dead. Okay, thanks for faxing me that. Also, here's the new and improved fax on the Dutch story. Lawmakers in the Netherlands, often in the extreme vanguard of European social change, voted yesterday to make their nation the first in the world where doctor-assisted suicide is legal. A euthanasia law, which is considered the wish of a dying person to put an end to his days, is granted, has its place in a mature society, Dutch Justice Minister Ben Korthel said. Ever see any euthanasia? I guess if you went to Thailand. Meeting in The Hague, members of the lower house of parliament voted 104 to 40 to legalize euthanasia, provided strict guidelines are observed. Approval by the upper chamber is considered assured because parties in favor of the legislation hold a comfortable majority. In effect, the legislature is merely giving its blessing to the status quo. Since 1993, physicians in the Netherlands haven't been prosecuted for giving lethal drugs to patients to help them commit suicide, although doing so has remained a crime that carries a prison sentence of up to 12 years. The legislation will contribute to the Netherlands' renown as either a haven of individual liberty and progressive thinking or a society losing its moral underpinnings depending on one's point of view. Dutch lawmakers, for example, have also legalized homosexual marriage, a decision personally deplored by Pope John Paul II. In Amsterdam, meanwhile, coffee shops legally sell marijuana cigarettes and hallucinogenic mushrooms, and prostitutes openly strut their stuff in the windows of row houses along some canals. Under the new legislation, a physician would have to ascertain that a person was suffering unbearable and irremediable physical or mental pain from an incurable condition. In other words, they were dying over there. The patient would also need a second opinion, and the diagnosis would have to be certified by regional commissions on which yet more doctors sit. And, best part of it, there would have to be a sound mind and so on. It also says the doctor would have to know the patient well. That would exclude terminally ill Americans or other foreigners who might come to the Netherlands in hope of finding a release from their suffering. They don't want outsiders coming there to die. How do you like that? Okay, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T Verizon Wireless line.
That's right. In this public hearing that goes on for 2 hours, people, most of them, have been speaking against the legislature stepping in. But they have also heard from experts over the past 2 days who have argued that they have absolute power under the Constitution to step in, call a special session, and name their slate of electors to be sent December 12th to Washington.
Go to hell. Yeah. Okay, let's take a call. A mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yes, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, hi, this is Mark. I've got some very interesting news about the special session they're planning.
Mm-hmm.
It seems they have a problem. The problem is, according to the original 1800s law, is that for a special session to elect a board of electors, it requires the signature of the governor.
Right, I know that.
So just imagine Governor Judd signing this, declaring his brother the president.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what they plan to do.
I think he's going to have the Secretary of Bush do it instead.
No, they plan to pass a new law. What they plan to do is have a special session. They're going to update the law so that the governor does not have to sign the bill, and then they're going to allow it to lay on the governor's desk for 7 days so that it automatically becomes law. So
Yeah, how the hell can they do that? I mean, talk about changing the rules in the middle of the game. That's what the Republicans keep saying. How the hell can they do that? They're going to change the law?
That's what they're planning on doing. This
Yeah.
came off CNN News.
What did I tell you? Bloodless coup, man. That's what's going on right now. A bloodless coup right in front of your eyes.
Isn't that something? That's what they're planning on doing.
Thanks for the
That's all
good
I
news.
tell
The
you.
good thing I got my passport in my pocket right now, and I'm squeezing it as tight as I can. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. And we got people out there that believe. And if Al Michaels really said that about Catherine Harris, that she's, what was it, a hero, an American heroine? He's an asshole. Yeah. Just stick to the football, okay, big mouth, Mr. Big Shot? Here's Tallahassee. Hello.
Neil, George, how you doing?
Okay.
Good. I've got some news for South Florida Democrats. Bush will win the election, so bend over and take it like a man.
You have any idea how long this guy waited on hold for that? That call's been on there for like almost an hour from Tallahassee. And that's one of the Bush people, yeah. Bend over and take it like a man. Sounds like the voice of experience to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I took the words right out of my mouth.
Uh-huh. As in... Yeah. Guess somebody else must be paying his phone bill, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 8 minutes past noon at 560 WQM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
What that man be doing to you? I don't know. Woman, he be no good. When he go back to jail. Now, who be that other smooth man who take your money? I don't know. Well, let me tell you something, girl. You could have given that money to me. I do not bathe, and I am out of incense. If you were not so stupid, I would dance around chicken bones and conjure up the spirit of Estero.
Girl, you be so fine.
Help me experience the benefit of your credit card reading and help subsidize the ever-growing telemarketing industry that caters to the uninformed Negro. For only $6.99 a second, I will tell you what you want to hear and less than you already know.
Call now. To get fleeced, go to the payphone at your local check cashing store and dial 1-800.
Only $50. Thank God those old Cubans, those green tooth under that hocus pocus stuff. Anybody want to buy some magnetic bracelets? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. And how about copper bracelets?
Yeah, anybody that would do that.
Yeah.
Same kind of people that put magnetic insoles in their shoes.
People that hang dead chickens on under their mezuzah. Here's Fort Myers. Hello.
Oh, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. With my looks, I can pass, and I can learn the goose step. But I'm worried about you and the Hebes over there.
Yeah.
Do you know who Prescott Bush was?
Do I know who he was?
Yeah, George Herbert Walker's grandfather.
Yeah.
And he helped finance Adolf Hitler through the Harrington Bank.
Uh-huh.
Now, you need to be aware of this.
Uh-huh.
Because they're going to be watching guys like you.
Okay.
Okay?
I hope they have a good time.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks for the good news. They're going to be watching guys like you.
They're already
watching you. Woo! I'll tell you, those people that you got over there on the West Coast, I mean, you really got to say something. Where are they cranking them out? What kind of factory have they got where they're stamping them out? 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Plenty of open lines now all of a sudden. They must be all turned over to what's-his-name so they can get the real objective viewpoint of all this good stuff that's going on. I frankly am looking forward to going to the hockey game tonight and getting away for 3 hours from all this crap. See, I'm just in shock over the result of this poll today. I'm glad that I took it. Which of these events was most compelling to you? This Bush Gore election 143 OJ Trial 49, Alien 23, and Monica/Penisgate only 21. I just don't get that. I don't understand it. Just like I don't understand why anybody voted for Bush. And you know something? This was before the election when we were sitting here puking our guts out, and then on election day, and then days immediately afterward, and now since I've come back from vacation, and still haven't had one person tell me why they voted for Bush. Not one. Here's Cooper City. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Okay.
I got a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. I've been listening on the TV. They're saying that whoever bows out gracefully this time will be in a good position for the next election 4 years from now.
Yeah, on his knees,
Yeah. Well, I just have something to say. I voted for Al Gore because I'm a yellow dog. But I think he ran the most pathetic campaign that I've ever seen any
Absolutely
Democrat run.
correct. That's right.
First of all, he doesn't understand what it means to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't attack this guy.
How about the nice job that Lieberman did attacking Dick Cheney when he sat back like they were having a social when he offered him a couple of bagels?
And how about like a couple of like a day or so before the election, Gore gets this gift that Bush has been convicted of a DUI, and he does not use that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, do you want this kind of guy in charge of the military? I don't know.
They got sucked in by this whole media thing about who was going to be perceived as the attack dog, who was going to be perceived as the mean guy, which of course was all a pile of crap. And what needed to be done was expose this guy for the moron and liar and the drunk that he is, and they refused to do it. And now they're paying a wicked price for it.
Right. And let me tell you, if Gore doesn't win this election,
Which he probably won't.
I would not run him against Morton Downey Jr.
Right.
I would not have him walk the dogs of the Democratic Party.
I wouldn't run him against Robert Downey Jr.
I would really be upset with him, and he has no future. If he doesn't win this thing, if he can't win with Bill Clinton in his camp, if he can't win with the economy the way it was, if he can't do it like that, he'll never win.
Okay, pal.
Well, thanks for your time.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, that was just for Robert Downey Jr. He's not in trouble again, is he? Oh, Christ. What a surprise. And that's Joan Kennedy, is she? Oh. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Florida legislature looking into the possibility of picking electors. Yeah, over our dead bodies. Here's Lighthouse Point. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing there?
Yes, sir.
I got a question for you. First of all, is Dr. Kevorkian, is he still in jail for that, for what he did back then?
I think so.
Is he?
Yeah.
All right, well, I got a way to settle this whole thing. We have a whole new debate, and it's Bush, Gore, Boroff. And whoever can tell the most lies and bore us the most in an hour, they're our new president.
Okay.
How about that?
And if either one of them can't show up, maybe you can fill in. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Dr. Jack, he's still cool in his heels, eh?
I don't know.
Huh. Something to think about. Well, maybe he just ought to get his passport and go off to Amsterdam, okay, and he could practice over there.
I'm dying over here.
Yeah. Here's a lady mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm one of the few females right here who have called today.
Oh, we don't have any women. Only when it's ethnic hate, then we have women.
Anyway, I am a diehard Democrat. I worked on Al Gore's campaign with the Democratic Party of Dade County. This whole thing is making me sick thinking that this nitwit is going to be our next president, which, as you said, is probably going to happen. However, what everybody is saying and what I think is going to happen is this obviously is going to be an illegitimate presidency. The economy, as you see, is not reacting very well, and I don't think it will be reacting well. And sometimes I think, well, if it's going to be a miserable 4 years, let it be under a damn Republican as opposed to a Democrat.
Oh, and speaking of the economy not reacting very well, one of the most bizarre and the most pathetic excuses I heard for, speeding up the clock and calling it the end of the game was when Baker, like days ago, was going on. This was like the first day or two after all the legal stuff started, and he comes down and says, oh, well, the world markets are not reacting well, and they're in jeopardy with all the uncertainty, as if, well, the stock market's taking a dump, so therefore hurry it up and just give it to us.
Well, the world markets haven't been doing well for months.
Right,
Look at the euro. This has nothing to do with that. I mean, that's ridiculous, which shows you the way the Republicans think. They want this election. They will say anything to get this election, and that's the way it is. But I feel for Al Gore, and another thing I wanted to say is when I came home after working that night for the Democratic Party and casting off my vote down the Democratic line, and when they announced Florida, when they called Florida for the Democrats, it was like 7:23, I think I remember.
7:50.
was 7:15?
7:50, 10 minutes too late.
I think it was a little earlier than that. I remember watching Brokaw, and it was like 7:23. But what I thought was, number one, it was a little early, and that was a little strange. But then, after the whole thing happened, I thought they did this based upon exit polls, okay? Clearly, if exit polls were correct, and they probably were correct in Palm Beach County, but because of the morass that happened there, we all know what resulted. The exit polls were probably right. And that's, I think, very important that I don't think anybody's ever brought up. They do this scientifically.
I brought it up many times. I brought it up the day after the election. That
obviously, the exit polls were correct.
You can't factor in fake ballots in the exit polling. They don't show up.
Absolutely. And my point is the exit polls, as you just said, the exit polls were correct. And if this whole speech thing hadn't happened, obviously, the exit polls showed the will of the people. The results obviously did not.
Okay, well, they stole it fair and square. Don't forget it.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. We got that court up. We got the black judge up there, that broad. We got the bald-headed judge with all his jokes and limericks and cornpone humor. He's kind of good. And we got the U.S. Supreme Court, and we're actually going to get to hear an audio tape when they finish the oral arguments. Did he say oral?
Squirt.
Not that kind of oral. When they finish the oral arguments, they're going to be so benevolent. See, they don't want us to see them. Because, first of all, they don't want to see the fact that Justice Rehnquist wears that red, instead of the black robe like the other justices, he wears the red one with a swastika on the front. And they don't want to see Clarence Thomas smoking on a doobie while he's sitting there deliberating all these. It would just not go over well. And trying to hump Sandra Day O'Connor. It just wouldn't look too, judicial. But we are going to get here the audio tape. Am I going to be listening to that?
No.
No way. Just get it over with. That's what I say. Get it over with. Get on to something interesting, which this is not. Oh, you can't say that. I just did. It's killing me. Here's Oakland Park. Hello.
You're gay.
Wow! That was great! What a poor reading that was.
You're gay.
Yeah, you see the difference? You can't even do it well, sir. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Out of town, dead as a doornail. That's the West Coast. Those nose pickers over there. George Worman, Walker, Yahoo, Preston Bush, Prescott Robinson. We still never got a call about whether he's dead or alive, Prescott Robinson. How about Steve Daly? Anybody know whether he's dead or alive?
No.
Anybody care?
No.
Come on, let's get with it. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask you about something that I know that there's been some sort of, or at least allegedly some sort of tampering with the Seminole County, with their ballots there. And I heard something this morning about...
It wasn't a question of tampering with the ballots. It was a question of the authenticity of the applications for the absentee ballots.
Okay.
Whether they were really requested by real living and breathing people, or whether the Republican Party just manufactured them and then filled them out and used them for advantage.
Okay, now, is that different than what happened in Martin County? I heard a little bit about that on the radio this morning. Did you hear anything about that?
Well, somebody called about that. What, do you remember what they said about that? I can't keep track of it.
Okay, what happened with the Martin County that I understand is that when people sent in their application to get the absentee ballot, if they didn't have their voter ID number on there, the Republicans in that office threw away the Independent and the Democrats application.
Yeah, that's the same thing as what happened in Seminole County. Same thing.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Now, that judge that's up north who's going to be ruling on this, and if she rules in favor of, like, say, the Gore team, and they take away 4,000 votes from Bush,
then the Bush people will appeal it to the Florida Supreme Court, and they'll say to them, and that'll be it.
Can they do that before December 12th and overturn this?
Well, of course. She's hearing that right now. That's going on as we speak. They're having a hearing on that Saturday, I believe, on that one.
Okay, because it seemed to me when I was watching TV yesterday, that lawyer for the Democratic side, let's say, seems to have pretty good evidence, so it looks like it's not over yet then.
Well, that's their theme song, Where the Boys Be. That's the Democratic theme song in court this year, and it seems to be working pretty good so far. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. I mean, those of you who really are keeping track of all of this, I commend you. I mean, I was away for 10 days, and yes, it was on CNN and on CNBC, and it was on my satellite dish over there, and I saw most of it, but I don't have the Constitution for it. Not that Constitution. And I just don't, especially with my IBS and with my GERD and with all this other crap, although I do feel a lot better today. Thank you for asking. That's why I said it as soon as I came on air, because I know nobody cared. I mean, this is a town where nobody gives a crap. So I came on and said, because I give a crap. I feel a lot better. I noticed Greg had a smile, a look of relief on his puss. You notice how they all been running around since I came back yesterday morning, even though, what's his name? Yeah, I know, Ray Perry. Oh, he's still alive. He looks like he might still live. We can still milk a little more cash out of our cash cow. I think Hank had his thumb on it yesterday. I think being fat is not where it's at, you know? Being fat is not where it's at. You get all of these things, all of these grotesque, and you start belching and crapping, and then they start splashing real out in the water, and Mom gets all upset. Yeah.
You don't think she'd go on tape on those, do you?
I'm going to her house for lunch tomorrow. And you know what I'm taking? A bowling ball. Yeah. I'm just going to bring it in like in a case, you know, very unobtrusively behind my back when I kind of like walk in sideways, when I swish in sideways into her front door, taking a bowling ball and dropping that baby right in the water.
Oh, my God, I knew it.
You're a crazy person, Mom. You're crazy. And don't be making no 30-course lunch tomorrow either, lady, because I got this agita over here, okay? I guess we won't be talking to our friends at Wayne Arnold's for a little while anyway. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. We got some open lines here for you. We got 261 votes on our poll. They're all whipped up about this. Am I whipped up about it?
No.
I'm sick of it.
Here's a guy, he sucks, okay?
Okay.
Get ready for a show that'll have the critics talking.
Check out that Speedo. He does fill it out nicely. Oh, gosh. Oh, God, if he started to drown, I'd like to give him out some hours. Oh, God, I'd like to save him. Look at his Oh, gosh, look at the torso.
Gaywatch, tonight.
12:30 at 560 WQAM, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Here you go, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Swept under by Bernardo Harris. Bernardo to the linebacker. Oklahoma, North Carolina. Catherine Harris to the side of that tackle. Man, American heroine. Was I telling the truth?
Was he serious or what?
Well, he said it. And if the case was frivolous, if the Seminole County lawsuit was frivolous, the judge would have thrown it out. I think it's time for the right...
Okay, go. Again, he's calling back. You've got to take some Valium, man. Every single day, before the election, during the election, the night of the election, 3 o'clock in the morning, this guy, you got to calm down, man. Once a king, always a king, but once a night's enough. That's what Bobby said. God. I think I'm playing some music here because it looks like we're petering out on this today. Maybe this whole thing is run out. Even though on the forward you think that this was like the beginning and end of all time, yeah. Play some goddamn music. Yeah. Oh, and speaking of that, speaking of music, you know that little twerp, since you're so Britney Spears intensive, well, I will say Billie Piper from England blows her away any day of the week, and if you saw her, you'd agree with me. But anyway, all the Britney Spears people out there, who allegedly is going with that Justin from NSYNC, they have got, and the good news is over there in Europe, the Backstreet Boys are bigger than all hell. Their song is #1 in a lot of places. NSYNC you don't see. Maybe once in a blue moon, very, very weak, which is good news. But anyway, they have they have two versions of their new video, NSYNC. One is in Espanol. And I had the misfortune, I think it was the last day we were there, to see the beginning of it. This Justin, I think his name is Justin Timberlake, isn't that his name? Floats like a butterfly. He makes me look like Hercules. Seriously, he makes Nick Carter look like Hercules. That's what a fruitcake this guy is. And this guy is going, we believe he's doing Britney? Yeah, uh-huh. Right. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami. That is a doornail. Here's Plantation. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
Okay.
I think you've been absolutely great through all this. George was also.
Yes, we are.
I agree from the very beginning. You said Bush, if Bush wins, fine, just count the damn votes. But I think actually the people got paid off down there in Dade County to stop the voting. But the interesting thing of it all is that,
Are you suggesting voting corruption in Dade County, sir?
They think that, they keep saying, well, Gore give up. When's he going to give up? When's he going to give up? The interesting thing is that the Bush people will give up at nothing. They will not stop at anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got to say.
That's why I keep saying, by hook or by crook, underline the crook part. Just like Alan Dershowitz said about the Secretary of Bush. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. See, the reason that my poll today is coming out the way that it is the OJ thing and the Ilion thing, too. I think there were more women who were hysterical about both of them because the women sat home and watched the OJ trial like a soap opera day after day. And if you have even a reasonable memory, you'll recall back in those days earlier this year when we actually had an audience where we had all these zillions of women calling in. I mean, one after another, all whipped up one way or the other about Ilion. Mostly, of course, the Cuban haters, the bilingual crowd, the Sandy Payton leftovers. But since we don't have those people listening anymore because we're not talking about something that, has to do with their ethnic hatred, we're not showing them up in the poll. Because I'm sure that if they were being honest, that the OJ and the Ilion thing would far supersede in their minds the Bush-Gore deal here, the soap opera. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Dear God.
Yes, sir.
Neil, I agree with the caller a few calls back saying how the Democrats totally blew this whole thing. I mean, they could have buried this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have. And that's embarrassing that we've
had. Well, number one, if they would have had two real candidates, that would have helped.
Yeah, well, that would have helped too. Neil, the biggest thing that I really haven't heard people bitch about this is the way that we vote is so antiquated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what outrages me. I mean, I started.
You and I are the only ones talking about that.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
The guy who invented the machine, who counts those votes, came out 5 years ago and said that the machine is highly flawed.
Right.
And at the time they told him, oh, no, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That those machines need to be thrown out.
Right.
There's too much error involved in
the idea that we should ever have another election of any significance in this country using paper ballots of any kind is so unctuous and unacceptable. It's grotesque.
I mean, I voted in 1979 in Florence, Alabama, in the middle of the South. And I was in a booth, where you pull a lever and you flip a switch.
Right.
You could only vote for one candidate. You could pick your nose. No one saw you. You flipped the switch and you were done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and how the hell that we have these stupid butterfly things? It's absolutely, that outrages me more than anything else. The good thing is that Bush will get in there and we'll see what a moron he really is.
Yeah, but I already know that.
Well, I do too, and I can't believe that this country would have.
Well, we're still waiting for the first call from somebody to tell us why they voted for Bush. We're still waiting for the first one, and it's 3 weeks and a day after the election.
Well, I mean, I have friends that voted for them because they feel that he's going to be good for their businesses. Look at the economy, guys.
Yeah.
He ain't going to be.
Yeah, look at the stock market right now, and it looks like Bush is probably going to get in, but look at where the NASDAQ is, 2,700 now, way down to 2,000.
And it will continue to be like that. Well, Neil, happy Hanukkah and Zygazoo.
Happy Chanukah. Okay, spin that dreidel hard. Yeah, that's the only thing that James Baker isn't spinning is the dreidel, not yet.
I'm gonna get those effing Jews, you wait.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. James Baker, a.k.a. Hermann Goering Jr. Ever see the two of them together?
No.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Don't forget we have less than 100 of those Best of Neil keychains for Planned Parenthood. Yeah. And the only way you're probably going to get them unless Miguel goes out again someday, which I have my doubts. But unless that happens, the only way you'll get them is by getting on our website, neilrogers.com, ordering it right off of there. And also your Best of Neil CDs and cassettes, which you can also buy at Specs. I just mentioned that because we ought to be doing a hell of a lot better than we are. I'm pretty embarrassed for you folks. Here's Tom Hopkins, who's pretty embarrassed for the whole state. How you doing, Tom?
Happy belated birthday, sir.
Thanks. How's your liver doing?
It's large. Getting larger all the time.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I feel I was kidding George. I said, it's like Oliver Stone will have the story out for us before long.
I think he's got a 5.5-hour movie coming out.
Oh, he's just shoveling cocaine home by the ton now. Spinning with it. Anyway, what I'm getting at is
Well, don't forget to leave some over for W.
You were talking earlier about the paid people. I freelanced at a couple of days up in West Palm. Those people that they hired and some of the folks that showed up were really mean-spirited Bush supporters.
Right.
There was
isn't that redundant?
Well, good point. I talked to a woman, a black woman up there. This poor soul is the only person up there of any color, really. And she's got this homemade Gore and Lieberman deal going, and these people are just ragging on her like they won't quit.
Yeah.
And then somebody says, hey, it's a free country, let her speak, and everybody hoots that person down. It was just awful.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm getting at is, why does George W. call his vice president secretary and he calls Jim Baker Jim. I mean, they're both secretaries, and they're both real powerful people.
Yeah.
They're terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were saying earlier from the
maybe he and Jim are tighter. Maybe they take showers together.
Well, it's just like if you remember the whole business of at IOD with the stomping boots when we were off to the Middle East. Remember how long it took the Bush administration to figure out what they were going for?
Yeah.
But that's God's truth. They don't know what they're doing now except that they want it.
Yeah.
And I would, in parting, I would say to you that I actually spoiled my ballot in Broward. And I just went back and got another one, and then I didn't even put it back in the slots. I just punched the numbers.
Really?
Yeah, because it didn't. Nobody's ever told me who made these ballots, under what contract with the state. They all didn't match. At least mine didn't in Tamarack.
Mm-hmm.
So,
see, that's another thing that very few people are talking about, is that a lot of the machines that you stuck, that you stuck the ballot in, they didn't match up with the holes.
No, the whole
and people are trying to make it out like, well, these dimpled chads, what kind of weaklings, what kind of morons. Well, the fact is that if it didn't match up right, it wasn't going to get perforated all the way through.
Exactly.
At all.
And do you have any idea how foolish I felt when I punched the number and I said, that's not the guy I wanted, and I punched the second one. I thought, this is not going to work.
Yeah, but you're used to it. You used to work at IOD.
Well,
so don't forget, Tom, Florida sucks.
You got it, big boy. I'll go way to San Jose, Costa Rica.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, have a good time.
You bet.
Say hi to Phil the Bugman. See ya. Well, now, you never told me the real story about Phil the Bugman. I guess you don't want to tell me?
I'll tell you off the air.
Okay.
If it stays off the air.
See, now, you said that, and inquiring minds are going to want to know. Well, we'll see.
Well, they don't know who he is.
Yeah, they do.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
Jeff Bush. I got to move.
Well, I know a guy who wants this country to be run by one family, the Bush dynasty. He won't let his state go to go away, but he's a little brother. He's gonna fix it all right, all right, all right, all right. It's the little brother who's determined to see that his broken brother wins the presidency. Well, he's got a gal who's Secretary of Bush, who's scratching her bush with a big hairbrush. She'll work all night, making Jeff feel right, 'cause he's a little brother. He's gonna fix it all right, all right, all right, all right. He's the little brother. He's gonna fix it all right, all right, all right, all right.
Oh, did you see last night they cornered him on CBS Evening News? And he said he got all the defensive. When this thing is all over, I mean, you guys are going to be gone and pack up all your cameras, and I'm going to have to be here for another however many years. What is it, 2 more years? That he's going to be governor here? And believe me, it's only going to be 2, Jeb. Make no mistake about that. He's got 2 chances, none and much, much less than none.
Are you sure?
Positive, no chance. Bye-bye, Jeb. With or without Big Brother in there. Well, of course, see, that's another thing. That's another reason they're desperate to get Big Brother in there. They don't have to worry about being governor, about being Secretary of Bush, because they're eliminating her position anyway. Her own position? Yeah, she's going to be the ambassador, and Jeb is going to be up there being some big shot somewhere, Be important. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Yes, hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm a first-time caller, and I just wanted to let you know that I survived a Thanksgiving of hell with my radical Republican parents.
Really?
Yes, I just dropped them off at the airport, and we weren't able to talk about politics the whole time, but yet they were able to talk about politics, give their views, and I just wanted to let your listeners know that these are the type of people that are behind George W. Bush, and some of their radical ideas are, they make their opinion, and they don't even know why. They're like, the blind leading the blind. Whatever comes out of the Republicans' mouth, they believe. One of the things that they were really upset about is the fact that Jesse Jackson was down here helping the protests.
Mm-hmm.
And they my mother commented, she said, yes, and Jesse Jackson was never really a friend of Martin Luther King. She said, that famous photo in Memphis of him.
Yeah, he was just hanging out there on the balcony. He was just there by accident.
Yeah, no, she said that photo was doctored. That really wasn't there. He was added in later.
Yeah, well, why do you think they called him Dr. King?
Well, that's all I need to say, Neil.
Okay, good luck, sweetheart.
All right, thanks.
Sounds like you need it. How do you like that? See, I've never been able to understand, like the James Carville, Mary Magdalene, that thing. How people who are not just friends, but, I mean, married to each other, who are so politically, I mean, at opposite ends of the universe. What kind of a relationship can that possibly be?
A fake one.
Because I don't even want to hang out. I don't want to be near. I don't want to be around. I mean, you know, I have people that I know who have disagreements, reasonable. But I'm talking about extreme right-wingers, which has become pretty much what the Republican Party is all about now. And you'll notice the difference. You've got some people running around with their Gore Lieberman placards and doing their thing and hoping that something good will happen for them. We get an honest count. And then on the other side, you've got this militant, hateful, obnoxious, disgusting, bitter, just like she said. The venom is just spewing from them because that's really what he's all about. That's what he represents. Now, I'm not suggesting that 50% of the country, or nearly 50% of the people who voted, are of that mentality, because if I believed that, I don't think I would come back here. I'd have to, you know, just squeeze that passport real tight and just keep taking money out of the ATM. But so who are all these other people that got sucked in? How is it they couldn't see what this was all about? They couldn't see the bush for the forest. How is that possible? Here's a mobile in North Miami. Hello? Mobile in North Miami.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Listen, I'm a Bush supporter, and I couldn't help but hear that you said that you wanted people to give you the reasons why they voted for Bush.
Well, at least one, yeah.
Okay, well, there's more than one. That's why the election is as close as it is. And I think one of the major reasons is they're fed up with Clinton and...
Well, let me ask you, is Clinton running this time?
Pardon me?
Was Clinton running this time? I didn't see his name on the ballot. I saw Hillary in the
Clinton said 3 days before the election in Philadelphia that to vote for Gore was the same as voting for him in his re-election.
First of all, that isn't what he said. It was in San Francisco, number one, not in Philadelphia. Number two, what he said, it was a joke. He said it would be the next best thing to a third term of Bill Clinton. It was a joke. And what does that have to do? In other words, that you're expecting real living and breathing adults to believe that's the reason you voted for Bush?
No, but let me tell you another reason why.
Why do you mention that?
Because I think there are some people that believe that don't think it was so much of a joke, and they thought that that was a true statement.
And so what if it was a true statement? Let me say it again. He wasn't on a ballot. He can't run again.
I know that. I realize that.
So why don't you give me a real reason? You're not doing too well so far, sir.
Well, let me go on.
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Number one, they're afraid of the military situation that's happening. We're having a depletion of our military resources. The military is overextended in peacekeeping missions, and we should have no right being in there, number two.
Let me ask you, sir, how come it was that all of our NATO allies were peeing in their pants, and that Bush's advisors had to send them letters and telegrams reassuring them that he wasn't serious about pulling all of the American troops out of NATO and Europe?
Well...
And how come it is that Gore has more... You don't want to have a conversation. I'm not going to waste my time. We went through all of this before the election, okay? I'm not going to try to convince you now of who wanted to spend more money for the military. See, Bush, he wants to spend money on Star Wars. We're back to Ronnie Reagan and Papa Bush again all over again. Star Wars, pie in the sky, fantasy, so that they can flush your tax dollars down the toilet. At the same time that he's promising you all this big tax cut, what he really wants to do is take your tax dollars and flush it down the toilet. That was good. I'm glad that guy called. I hope we get a lot more people like him. Because Clinton said in Philadelphia, which was San Francisco, and even if it was a joke, this guy takes it serious, and even if it was serious, what difference does it make? He wasn't running again, sir, with or without his penis. He wasn't running again. With or without Monica, with or without Jennifer Flowers, with or without Kathleen Willey, without any of these people, all of these things. This is sad. This is really and truly sad. See, you can't complain about education in this country because there is so little of it that it's you have to bring in Sherlock Holmes to find it. I mean, I'm no genius. That's obvious. I flunked out of school because I was busy drinking Meisterbrow. But I'm doing okay. But compared to the people I talk to every day, at least a great many of them, not all, but many of them, I feel like some kind of a pseudo-intellectual almost. I mean, this guy, if you put a goddamn Uzi up his, he still couldn't give you one valid reason why he voted for Bush. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon wireless line. Here's Pompano Beach. Hello.
You're like a messiah.
Yeah.
That guy.
No,
there,
I'm not like a messiah.
I
am the messiah.
That guy there. That's why I quit the police department. I couldn't protect that guy.
Yeah, from himself.
Listen, this has something to do with the election a little bit. Another friend of mine who is still in the police department, he was telling me a story. It's a quick story about 3 black guys that got in some trouble. I guess they were robbing a convenience store. When they came out,
guys robbing a convenience store? That's pretty unusual.
Yeah, listen to this though. This is quick. They came out. They were all hollering, "Let's get the hell out of here, dog!" And so what happened was, they went to the neighborhood where they thought they frequented, and they went up, and the police officers got out and said, "Do you guys know anybody named Dog?" Well, they all stepped forward, so they arrested all of them. And I think that, in a way, could help Gore if it gets to the Supreme Court as far as something like that could happen. Thanks.
Let me ask you. Who let those dogs out?
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, my God. I just can't. I can't continue this. This is just, it's like, remember what I said about waking up last Wednesday night, 3 in the morning, a week ago tonight, 3 in the morning in Amsterdam, and I have this feeling like somebody just shot me right through the heart. It's not where my heart is, but you think your heart is there, under the breastbone. And it turns out it was only this GERD, whatever the hell that is, this irritable esophageal crap, indigestion. And that's how I feel like I have mental GERD from what I'm hearing on this phone today. And, of course, for the last 25 years. Why should Manishtana Halala Hazeh, why should this show be any different from any other show? Isn't that what Moses asked?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. When he was busy trying to do his goddamn show. And, of course, he had the burning bush to contend with. Here's a lady in Pompano Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. You got a couple of good callers.
Oh, the best.
That judge that's hearing that case in Seminole?
Yes.
Did you hear yesterday on TV she was up for a promotion to a higher court? And guess who blocked her vote?
Jeb Bush.
Uh-huh.
Oh, how do you like that? Wow. That's just like when the Florida Supreme Court's going to meet in a couple hours this afternoon and decide whether they're going to take on a Palm Beach County revote lawsuit.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're just seeing stars in front of their eyes. They just can't wait for this.
That's right.
Payback is a bitch.
Yeah. Up north, they got shirts that read FLORIDUH.
Yeah. That's
Florida.
Florida.
Unbelievable.
Well, at least we're consistent.
Okay.
Say hi to Alien. Bye-bye. Okay. 294 votes on our survey so far. Our survey says, which of these events was the most compelling to you? Bush-Gore election, 60.8%, 179. OJ trial, only 61, 20.7%. Alien, a paltry 29, 9.8%. And that's because all our Julios are gone anyway. And Monica Gate, Penis Gate, whatever you want to call it, 25 votes, 8.5%, 8.5%. Pretty weak. So obviously, and of course, I guess the people who are listening want to hear all about this stuff ongoing, and the people who have had enough, they've gone somewhere else. They're playing their CDs, they're listening to music, they're playing with themselves, they're doing anything else. How's Brian Park doing about it? Even George said this is probably the best song he's ever heard. 1256 at 560 QAM.
This is 560 QAM. Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami, Fort Lauderdale. A Beasley Broadcast Group station. WQAM.com for the world.
This is your president speaking. Yeah, I got so much time nowadays, I even listen to that Neil Rogers 1 to 2 hour. It's good. It's good.
So this is Andrew Neal, and I was calling today to tell you about AT&T's newest calling plan that can simplify your calling and reduce your phone bill.
Wait, who are you again?
AT&T.
AT&T, and you're calling for what?
So I'm telling you about our newest calling plan.
Your newest calling plan?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Well, here at AT&T, like I said, we do have 2 calling plans. like a simplifier calling your phone bill. If you don't mind me asking, what... Hello?
You don't mind me, I'm on the toilet while I'm talking to you.
Oh, okay. What current long distance carrier do you...
What's your question again?
What current long distance carrier
Hello?
do you have?
We must use AT&T, I don't know.
Okay, so would there be a better time for me to call her back?
What?
Would there be a better time for me to call her back?
No, you gotta talk to me because I have the phone here in the bathroom and I don't want to get up and hang it up, so keep talking to me, alright? Tell me more about your deals.
Okay, so you say, you think you're with us here at the MCI or Sprint?
What? What?
So you think you're with MCI or Sprint or AT&T?
Something like that.
Something like that? Okay, do you know what kind of rate you're currently getting? Hello?
Do you prefer to roll it up or do you want it?
Here, you start. Can you say that one more time?
Oh, I'm making a poopy. You make a poopy? Hello?
Okay, 102 at 560 WQM. It's our big 1 and 2 hour. We got Hank standing by. He'll be here at 2 with or without his IBS and esophageal or whatever this is good. 567-0560. Too much deli. That's what's going to do it every time.
Boy.
One pastrami sandwich too much, or maybe too many of those white hots. Too many of those bratwurst. Here's a lady in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Neil. This is a first-time call for me.
Great.
And I can't even believe I'm doing this, joining some of the morons that are calling this station.
The intelligentsia. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's our crowd.
I cannot even believe that these people don't have a mind to see and think and understand what's going on here.
And you wonder why the election turned out like this?
Well, it's just... I sometimes doubt my sanity when I listen to some of these calls and I hear some of these people talking on TV. It just absolutely boggles the mind. I think that maybe the only explanation is that aliens from outer space have taken control of their minds.
Did you say alien?
No, no. I knew you were going to say that, though.
Uh-huh.
I knew it.
Well, you can't get him out of your mind, you know. I sure hope he's enjoying his Happy Meal today.
Well, he probably is. But in any event, I wanted to just point out one thing. When we were watching the events unfolding for the last 3 weeks ad nauseum, and the governor of Montana showed up.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is the governor of Montana doing here? Well, it turns out that he's being considered for Attorney General.
Right, he's sucking up is what it's called.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And these people who just do not understand what's going on here, it just amazes me. And one last thing, I have a poll I'm doing on my own. I want to do my own vote count. And I'm starting a movement here. If you voted for Gore, drive with your headlights on, because our vote is being buried in Florida.
But only after sundown.
No. That's it.
Good luck, sweetheart.
Thanks. Bye.
567-0560. She was starting a movement? I thought we just heard that bit. It's very sad. Very, very sad. He probably won a state by 150,000 votes, I would say. Go at least 150, maybe 300,000 votes. Wasn't even that close. But by hook and by crook, 15,000 over here and 4,000 over there, and we'll never know how many in Dade. You'll never know how many in Dade County. And those of us who have lived here more than 5 minutes, we know that there isn't any election that you can't fix in Dade County. With all due respect to our good close personal friend David Leahy. He's an asshole. Who's eloped with Mayor Pinga Pequena last time. Last time we checked, nobody can find David Leahy. He eloped with the mayor. They're doing it right now. First they did it to us, now they're doing it to each other. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a lady mobile in Plantation. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Hi, my name's Phyllis. I've never actually listened to the station before. But
oh, my God.
Yes, I voted for Gore, and I haven't voted in 12 years. I moved here from New York.
Right.
And I work in my house, and I spend every day watching CNN and all the shows on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it really makes me mad about the butterfly ballot and about Gore not getting the votes he's supposed to get in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say, it's actually taking me away from all the work I have to do because I have to watch everything till 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, let me say it again. New York State, the polls close there at 9 o'clock at night, and they had every vote in New York counted, which of course has a larger population than Florida by about 4 or 5 million people, I guess. They had every vote counted in New York before Dade County had one single vote counted. What does that tell you?
Of course. And I didn't even vote when I lived in New York, and then I moved here, and I was like proud to vote for Gore because I think Bush looks like a shifty-eyed used car salesperson without being very intelligent at all.
Yeah, and of course, even when he was selling used cars, they wouldn't let him drive them because he was always plowed out of his mind. Well, good luck to you, sweetheart.
Right, thank you.
Have a great day. He was always a little bit tipsy, old W. Never met a bottle he didn't like. Never met a he didn't like. We're going to have a rip snorting good time in the next 4 years. Make no mistake about that. Here's a call from Margate. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Neil.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you. Buenas tardes.
Gracias. You know, one of the reasons why Republicans can't give you a good reason why they voted.
They can't give me any reason.
Because they don't want to give you the real reasons. The real reasons are race, religion, and the last one is money.
Uh-huh.
Now, let me say something about...
You left fags out, too. I mean, don't leave me out.
Well, that's part of their religion.
Oh.
Let me say this. The money that Bush is saying that he's going to return taxes, lower taxes, you're going to pay up the kazoo in utility rise, the rise of utility prices, power prices. Every dime he gives you back, it's going to go up 20 cents for your phone, for your heat, and for your electric, and for your gas.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So
It's probably a good thing I'm storing up my own gas.
The whole scheme of things is the Democrats want to use money for social programs. The Republicans want to funnel that money back to corporations by giving it back to the people and then raising the prices. They've been doing that all
but don't you remember
it's
supposed to trickle down? Don't you remember that? Can't you feel it?
Oh, yeah. I can feel it. It's the color is yellow.
Uh-huh. Okay, good luck to us, pal.
Okay, bye.
Okay, don't trickle too much. How's our friend Dick Trickle doing? How's Joe Costello? Is he doing okay? Big superstar now. He'll probably be too big for us pretty soon. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. Wouldn't surprise me. I go to the hockey game tonight. Maybe Joe will be there. I think he's moving to the depot spot. He's starting to take all those places, doing those silly things in between periods at the hockey game and making all these appearances. Nice going, Joe. Because let's face it, I can't win no Employee of the Month again with these crappy numbers we got now. Huh? I don't think we're ever going to see that thing again. So don't go spending that $200 prematurely, Joe, because I think those days are long gone. And I told Greg this morning when he came in here, I said, hey, forget about numbers. We're never going to have any again. He just looked like, What does that mean?
Were you fudge packing?
Yes.
He categorically denied he ever snorted a line of cocaine. He says that it's not true that he ever used cocaine. Georgie lies when he denies that he tried cocaine. What the Republicans say in an attempt to save his campaign is that he's pure as a saint and he would never play with cocaine. Georgie lies when he denies that he tried cocaine. Looking back on the things that he's done, I was trying to be good. My fault, took you in the dark. Now that you show me the
Okay, calm down, guys. 115 at 560 WQM. Let me say it again. Justin Timberlake of NSYNC is a 5670. Huh? I mean, he just embarrasses me, and that takes a lot. They would kick his ass out of Amsterdam, guaranteed. Where are we going? Here's Moral Gables. Hello.
Yeah, Neil. I'm from New York. I'm Puerto Rican. And the reason that the New York results came in different from Miami is because we're in a different time ozone layer and a different hemisphere.
Yeah.
And that's...
I think he just choked on it. Didn't he just gag on it? He swallowed it. 56705. That was good. Hey, beat those other two calls. Here's a lady in Hollywood. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller.
Great.
Okay. I wanted to talk about what upset me was to know that a lot of Cuban people in Florida voted for Bush because of Elian.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty silly because even if you was Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. The child would have to go back.
Yeah.
So that really upset me.
How about the non-Cuban people that voted for Ralph Nader?
I wonder if that. Oh, you talking about the mistake, the ones that did it by mistake?
No, that was Buchanan. I'm talking. Oh God. Oh God. Oh.
Don't you know the Cubans would have voted for Bush?
The Cubans were voting for James Buchanan. Will you leave them alone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They like those maricones with cheese. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T. See, what did I tell you about the women? No matter, you could be talking about a soccer match, and it could be Argentina against France, and some woman would call out, yeah, but those Argentinians, they speak just like the Cubans, and I'm telling you, that's all you know about is Cubans. You hate them, you can't stand them, they don't know the way they speak, the way they smell. You got like a Cuban disease. I've been living here for 25 years, other than every now and then when the old toothless people get whipped up into a frenzy, and it's always orchestrated anyway by a bunch of agents provocateurs. But other than that, I don't pay any attention. I just came back from a place where you can't even tell what most of those people are. They're from who knows? Algeria, China, all over the world. Didn't faze me, doesn't bother me, and if they look good, do them, The hell with it, just be friendly. And same with the Cubans. That's what I told Miguel this morning before he ran out. Haven't seen him again since. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T and Verizon Wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, how you doing, Neil?
I'm doing okay.
First-time caller.
All right.
I have a comment and a question. My comment is my partner and I never got around to leaving the Republican Party, even though we didn't vote that way. And I'm amazed by the messages left from the Republican Party.
Well, what do you mean? Wait. Your partner and you never left the Republican Party?
No, we didn't switch over to Democrats, but we sure voted that way this time.
Yeah.
And the Republican Party they leave me messages on my recorder about rallying for Kathleen Harris downtown. And Wednesday, with this whole mess with Miami-Dade, in the morning they left a message: get your friends, your family, make signs, and we know it's short notice, come and support. And my skin just curled every time because I can't imagine going and supporting that idiot. That's my comment. My question is I was actually in Europe during the election, but voted before we left.
Yeah.
And the polls that are saying that Gore should concede, how consistent are they, considering the polls were saying that Bush was so far ahead or further ahead?
Well, I mean, the idea that somebody is going to concede the election based on the polls, this is what the Republicans are counting on. This is what Baker and all of these other henchmen are counting on. Run out the clock, run out the patience of the public. And to Gore's credit, I can't give him too much credit for many things, but at least to his credit, he's sticking to his guns, and he's not going to let polls decide when it looks like they really lost and they can't get the votes back that they should have.
All right. My other thing is, I come from a family of right-wing Christians as well, and
how sad.
Listening to them, that you can't talk to these people because they've made up their mind, they're closed-minded, and that's it. They're already brainwashed, and they can't even look outside to imagine anything but what they're listening from their, church and the Republican Party.
Well, just remember, religion and hate are synonymous. When you say religion and hate, you're repeating yourself. Good luck to you, pal. Last night, I mentioned we had dinner last night at the Emerald Coast, and we walk in there, and in the dining room, one of the 6 nice dining rooms in there, here's and of course, there are a lot of Jews in there, but there's one family, and there's a young kid, I'd say 16, 17, and he's got a shmata on his head. And every time I see that, it makes me want to cry. Because... And I'm sure he feels very fine about it, and he doesn't have a problem with it because he's been conditioned into this. He's been brainwashed into it, and he feels like this is the way life is supposed to be. Then he walks around with his beanie on his head. It's tragic. It's just sad.
Maybe he thinks it makes him look sharp.
No, without it, he would have looked sharp.
Maybe he's hiding a bald spot.
Huh? No, he doesn't have a bald spot.
Maybe he's hiding those horns.
Yeah. Maybe he's hiding the 3 6s. Maybe that's it. Very sad. It's tragic. It's awful. It's pathetic. And that's one of the wonderful things about being in a place like Amsterdam. Yeah, they got churches. They got the old church right there in the middle of the red light district, and they actually have some churches, I guess, that some people go to, but probably not too many. Just like in Italy, where 97% of the people don't attend church ever, because they're rebelling against all the brainwashing and all the Vatican, all that crap. But it's marvelous to be in a place like that where you're not surrounded by all this religious hate. It's not just a coincidence that they have such a socially liberal society over there. They haven't been broken. They haven't had their spirit and their will broken by the religious, intolerant lunatics. And that's what America's all about. And then we have this constant battle that we have to be fighting against, and most people are too stupid to understand it, because they've been brainwashed, because they're a part of it. That's why this Jew Lieberman guy, every Jew listening to me, every Jew in America should be offended by him, except, of course, for the Hasidim, the real sick Orthodox, the ones who are the embarrassment, the black sheep in the family, with the black hats and the black coats. It's not just a coincidence that they wear all the black garments, because they're the black sheep. And the black beards, the Getskis. He's an embarrassment. That's not what Judaism is all about. Generally, except, of course, for the Palestinians. But other than that, it tends to be the most benign of the religions, of the major religions of the world, as opposed to malignant. Jews don't try to convert anybody. They don't try to make an offer they can't refuse, unless you have to be happen to be a Palestinian kid with a slingshot. And then, of course, you make an offer you can't refuse. Well, that's another story. George will talk about that on his next anti-Semitic show. But it's just, it's sad. It makes no difference which group you're talking about. It's all such gobbledygook. It's such nonsense. It's like people calling in today, well, we just can't understand these Bush people. It's not just the Bush people. I can't understand what people are thinking, because most of it has been placed there by somebody else. It isn't the conclusion that they came to by using the gray matter, by using their brain and thinking logically. That there's this wonderful God whose wrath keeps waxing hot and keeps inflicting all this pain and punishment and disease and grotesque crap on everybody because some bitch ate a goddamn the fruit off a tree. These are stories that even little kids would laugh at if they weren't brainwashed, if their brain wasn't stolen before they become old enough to understand. They'd laugh you out of the goddamn house. Who the hell are you kidding with that bullcrap? Come back with Santa Claus. At least we can see him on TV anyway, as opposed to this God bullcrap. And that's what we've got, the intolerant religious right. And that's why it's mind-boggling. It's terrifying to me that the Democratic Party could come up with a ticket as weak as Gore and Lieberman against a man so obviously mindless and idiotic and controlled by the rabid religious right. It's pathetic. And the women who went out there and voted for Bush, who wants to take away, he believes in the people's rights. He believes in people. But he doesn't believe in women's rights to choose about their own body. He doesn't believe in dying people's rights to choose about terminating their lives. No, they believe in machines now. Voting machines. Unless it's in Texas, of course, and it's a Republican who's contesting the election. And let me say it again. Every dimpled ballot was counted. I mean, he still lost, even by a few votes more than he would have. But every dimpled ballot in that Texas congressional election, in the state legislative election, every one was counted. You're dealing with hypocrites, liars, finger pointers, talking about Bubba and his blowjobs. In the meantime, here's a guy who's a chronic drunk, got a substance abuse problem that he refuses to answer questions about. We're still a lot of us convinced about that abortion, that hanky-panky in 1971 that nobody wants to talk about because everybody has been duly intimidated. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi. Well, of course, you know, a lot of these things came out after the election. I'm a registered Democrat, and I did vote Republican. I voted pretty much...
Which things came out after the election? Which things I just mentioned that came out afterward?
Well, I mean, no, I'm talking about all the hanky-panky with the butterfly ballot and things like that. But, but I voted a split ticket. But I will tell you, probably the main reason I voted for Bush is maybe in the rest of the country I might identify with being a Democrat. But truthfully, in Florida, I just don't see it. I mean, the people that they hired were basically of all one ethnic group to solicit And I found it alienating in my way, so that's why I voted. I mean, and
I thought we were voting for president. What is it? We weren't voting for government.
I think, well, I mean, I agree, but I think a lot of people, like your caller said before, voted based on an identity thing, just like a lot of people that voted for Gore.
Do you identify with Bush?
I would say I identify more so with Republicans in South Florida than I identify with Democrats.
So in other words, you identify with old Cubans. Is that what you're saying?
I'm sorry, I missed that part.
You identify with the old Cubans?
More so than I identify with the people asking for another homestead exemption and free cheese, I'd say so, yes.
Another homestead exemption and free cheese. So in other words, it's the Cubans against the Schwarzes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much what I would say it came down to, yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, great. Well, I'm glad that you at least were honest about identifying where you're coming from. Another bigot. But at least he was honest about it. Woo! 26 after, and I'll say it again, anybody who believes that Lieberman was an asset, Gore would have won this election by a comfortable margin. Not a landslide, because he's not that good of a candidate. Would have won by a comfortable margin. If he didn't have this rabid Jew on the ticket. Not just an ordinary pedestrian Jew, but a rabid, wear it on your sleeve, yell and carry on about it, and throw hollow out the enemy Jew. At least throw us a few Hummontagen, for Christ's sake.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560. QAM.
I know that the Lord even loves Neil Rogers.
We are from Heaven's Gate. To join us, you must wear black. Cut off your nuts and drink vodka with applesauce and some phenobarbital. We will pick up your soul on our way through your galaxy. So have your packed and be dead when Mailbox is closest to Earth. Thank you.
Cyber geeks in all black roses waiting for our UFO. Where's my UFO? Here under for outer space, 'cause we belong in outer space. Deep in outer space, something we call Heaven's Gate. I got to go, I can't take the place. Laying down in my cot wearing my jeans. This is not the existence I wanted. Someone's gonna find us. Backpack and pocket change. Our containers decompose. I sure could use some phenobarbital. So don't get me some phenobarbital. With vodka and some applesauce. Shot totally into that. Oh, son, the left hand box. When we joined our night got shot, then we waited for Hail Bob. Waited for Hail Bob. The end of it had it explained how we meet up with our space plane. Right on a space plane. Just ran into Kirkstone.
133 at 560 WQM. I love the expressions that the religious nuts use, like, oh, well, when we get to the pearly gates, it's going to be, and then they'll decide. And when St. Peter does this, I mean, what in God's name, name are these people talking about? It just goes to show you how easy it is to brainwash folks. You just keep repeating, like Hitler said, just keep repeating the same crap over and over again. And pretty soon people say, oh yeah, that's right, that's reality, that's what life is all about, that's what the universe is all about. This crap, this nonsense, these fairy tales. So I saw George that one of the last nights in Amsterdam, just by blind luck, on one of the 85 MTV channels we got, there was the Tom Green chop off his nut show. And the bad news is you tell me that's the last good thing he's ever done?
Yeah. It's very sad.
That was a great show. That was hysterical.
You might say they cut off his
talent.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean,
maybe it was like Samson with a haircut. You know, maybe his talent was in that one nut.
They took the wrong one.
And I wish I had a copy of that song. That was great. You know, squeeze your nut.
Hey, kid.
Yeah.
Feel your balls.
Feel your balls. Play with your balls. Yeah. Massage your balls. And don't get cancer. Yeah, that's good. Nice going, Tom. I'm glad at least he did something good on the way out. And then that frickin' Drew Barrymore. Now, she was down there sitting next to him at the table, but you notice that she never said anything at the dinner table, and she was never, not that she needed to be identified because we know who she is, but it was kind of like she was just there. And now all of a sudden they got married. Now,
they're not yet.
Oh.
They were going to on Saturday Night Live, but she chickened out.
No, but I thought they got married after the show is what I read.
No.
Not that I really care about that celebrity who's doing whom, but now she's not the most attractive thing in the world. She's okay. But did you see him when you saw that show?
Yeah.
So you saw him like almost naked?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Drew, but I realize physical beauty isn't everything, but they reminded me of Julia Roberts and Lyle. I Love It All. It's that same syndrome again.
I'm sure Drew has done way uglier than him in a drunken stupor.
Or maybe she's just a... Here's a mobile in Margate. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
I have a problem that I haven't heard come up before since the election problem.
Yes, sir?
It is my daughter is away at college and called up to get an absentee ballot. She never received it, and this was the first time she was going to vote for the president.
Well, who is she going to vote for?
She was going to vote for Gore.
Oh, well, that's why.
It's an unbelievable situation. How could that possibly happen? How many other kids didn't get absentee ballots at college?
All the ones who were going to vote for Gore.
And most of them were.
The only kids that got ballots were the ones at the University of Florida and FSU because they're all a bunch of right-wing little Nazis.
Well, my daughter's at University of Florida, and she doesn't fall in that category.
She's the only one. Thank God for her.
She's in Hillel.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Good luck to her. Yes, and you notice Tom went to the University of Florida. Did you see that part of the show?
No. I might have, but I forgot.
Well, and he was singing the song. He was up on stage singing the song, you know, with the guitar, and Humplick was up there on the stage with him. And then at the very end of that show, where all the kids, of course, were going nuts because, you know, the kids, it's the same thing with Nader. Anybody who's anti-establishment, and don't get me wrong, I love Tom Green when he used to be funny, especially on the Canadian Comedy Channel when he was really funny, before MTV destroyed him. But at the end of the show, some real screamer, some queen from the audience gets up and he says, I want to squeeze Glenn Humplick's nuts. And the audience, this, keep in mind, is in Gainesville, okay? All these real, you know what they are, kids. And the guy was obviously a screamer, and they all start booing and hooting him. And, of course, Tom Green loved it. It's exactly the kind of thing. And next thing you know, he's up on stage, and they got their black they're marking out the genital area. They've got the gray square on the screen, and he's got Humplick's pants down. And now all of a sudden they're all cheering. See, Tom said it was okay, so then the kids thought it was okay. I hate to say this, but you know something? College kids, most of them are really pathetic. Isn't that a sad thing to say?
Especially frat guys.
Yeah, but there's nothing like running on the beach naked with your fraternity brothers.
That's what GW said.
Yeah. No, he was talking about me. He said nothing like running on the beach with fat guys, not frat guys. Me and Fat Rich. Yeah, what is it about college kids that makes them so sad? Or maybe it's just in Florida. Huh? You think that could be just in Florida? This is such a Yahoo place? I don't think so. 23 before 2 at 560 WQM. You want a good smoke? That's, you know, I saw a bumper sticker this morning that I loved. It said something about, at least I can smoke inside my own car. I can still smoke it, you know. And I thought to myself, F&A, baby. At least they haven't made a law yet. Underline the yet part. That you can't smoke in your own car.
The story of a girl who dropped her pants and mooned the whole world. And while her butt was fine, it looked like mine, 'cause it was kind of hairy, and that's gross. How many hairs on her rear? Certainly more than on mine, it appears. And I'm gonna be so sincere. It looked like a sheep that hadn't been sheared. She had an ass like Chewbacca, furry and brown on the rounds of her cheeks. Needed a razor, it's clear, or at least shampoo to the hair didn't reach. Or why did I have to see it that day when the hair on her ass was moving my way? The hair on the button of the pearl, well, it ain't okay. This is the story of a girl who dropped her pants and mooned the whole world. And while her butt was fine, it looked like mine, 'cause it was kind of hairy, and that's gross.
How's that hand job coming along, huh?
It's getting kind of red.
17 till 2 at 560 WQM. We got Hank coming up at 2 o'clock. Got the Panther game. Anybody going to be there tonight?
No.
Jesus, 6,500 unsold tickets again. Man, well, they don't have time to go to hockey games and stuff like that. They're too busy watching all these shows on CNN and MSNBC and Fox and CNBC. Anybody else?
No.
Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What were you playing a couple breaks ago? 98 Degrees?
Backstreet Boys. Shape of My Heart.
Anyways.
What does that mean?
Sorry. Anyways, what I called...
Now, wait a minute. You see, if I wouldn't have told you who the song was by, you'd have said that was pretty good. But I told you it was the Backstreet Boys, and you go, you went like that.
You're right. You got a point there.
Yeah.
Listen, how about Eric Lindros playing with Toronto? You like that?
No, I don't know. I really don't know. I was watching Pat Quinn was pondering it last night back and forth. If they had to give up a lot for him, and then he winds up getting a concussion like the second or third game with my luck, I don't know. It all depends on what they have to give up.
Why did he not want to play with the Flyers anymore? I don't know about that.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he and Bobby Clark hate each other like poison. Eric's father and Bobby Clark, it's a war there.
Oh, I see.
There's no chance he'll ever play for them again.
Oh, I'm just a novice hockey fan. You going to the game tonight?
I'll be there.
You got any spare tickets there for the Hurricanes game?
For the Hurricane? You mean for tonight's game?
Yeah.
I got a pair.
Just a pair.
Mine. See you there. Okay. How do you like that? He's a novice hockey fan, but already he's willing to freeload for tickets. Have I got any free tickets?
No.
No. But at least he said he was going to be. Didn't he say he was going to be there? I think that's what he said. He won't be there. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, great show, man.
Yes, it is.
I just have one quick comment. The very first casualty of this election was the truth. George Bush knows that if he can bury the recount under, all this legal, all these lawsuits.
A mountain of legal
lawsuits. And if he can keep us from seeing the truth, then he'll win this election.
Right. He'll steal it fair and square.
He'll steal it. I mean, I can't understand how all these people want to see, like, the Mongolic son of the ex-president to be the president. We're going to give the keys to the country.
Well, I guess the public liked all that inflation, and they liked the budget deficit, and they liked the Gulf War, and the fact we left Saddam sitting there in Iraq, and they liked the savings and loan scandal with Neil Bush in charge. They liked all these grotesque things that they kicked his father out 8 years ago, and now you notice here comes Colin Powell, and here comes Dick Cheney, and here comes this Andrew Card guy, and all the same guys that were buddies with Papa Bush. It's the same people are coming back in again.
And I think, you're right about the whole Lieberman thing. I think
that was the yid that broke the camel's back. Make no mistake about that.
And a lot of people, in the more southern states, don't like the idea of a Jewish vice president. That's why they
don't like an idea of a Jewish neighbor. Forget about vice president.
Forget about it. And they don't like the idea of a bunch of retired old Jews and refugees in South Florida deciding who's going to be president.
Boy.
That's all I have to say.
Good luck to us, pal.
Thanks.
Yeah, all you people in Palm Beach, you ought to hang your heads in shame. You ought to go rub your mezuzah a couple of times and pray that they get a revote up there. And if they do, how about if we put pictures of the candidates this time, huh? On the new ballots, if we have a revote in Palm Beach, which is unlikely but possible. Big pictures of the candidates. And since Nader, nobody's going to vote for Nader or Buchanan again, are they? In fact, this time, I guess all the names would have to be on the ballot. It wouldn't be a butterfly ballot. They'd all have to be on one side. But pictures, good big pictures next to each one. And instead of Buchanan, instead of his picture, they'll just have a picture of Hitler there with like a swastika on his forehead, just to make sure that those old yidlocks don't get sucked in again and wind up voting for Pat Buchanan or James Buchanan. I mean, I'll grant you it was confusing, it was irritating, it was illegal, it was all of these things. But the fact is, we're dealing with an awful lot of really stupid people out there, okay? We're dealing with a lot of really, really stupid people. And how come it's so bad for all the Cubans to line up who are pissed off about Alien and vote for George Bush, but it's okay for the old Jews to line up because they want to vote for a Jew for vice president? How come that's okay? Has anybody talked about that?
No.
No.
So did you know we were off the air for a couple minutes? 5, according to Boca Brian?
How would I know that? Who would tell us? Nobody in the audience told us. Huh? We were off the air when?
Just now.
For 5 minutes?
Apparently.
Well, what kind of a make-believe freaking radio station is this that nobody even puts their head in the door and tells us, hey, guess what, guys, you're off the air?
What, like they'd noticed? Like
Jesus Christ, we were just having a good show there those 5 minutes. That's the best part of the day. Gee, you missed some good crap.
Right, we said all the words.
You heard the guy that said ad, and then there was the caller that...
Oh, 30 seconds. You know, Boca Brian tends to exaggerate.
Bald head. Prick. Boca Brian said we were off the air for 5 minutes. You know, one thing I've always said about him.
He's very stupid!
Yeah, I think he's going to win with 40.
Yeah, that's the average.
A minute and 40 seconds?
We just averaged the two. That's what somebody called and said.
Well, Bluff said 30 seconds. Who was it?
Huh? I didn't say
Was it Bluff?
Yeah, that's what he said. 30 seconds.
He also said that line 5 will get fixed sometime between now and next Sukkot, and he don't even know when Sukkot is. Or he said something about Sukkot. Sukkot. I don't know what he was saying. Something about going back to Amsterdam. Oh, God. What a place. And we're also running, I don't like talking about the recorded commercials because this radio station is never going to get any better, you know? But we got that one spot, it's so distorted, and somebody is paying for that. Now, of course, do we care here at QAM? No, as long as they're paying for it, we don't care. We'll take the money. It's the Beasley effing way. But you think that if you had any pride, it's like we've gone back to the first week that we were on the air here when we had all those muffled spots. Oh, but we're getting the audio vault, yeah? And so we get some muffled, distorted spot from an agency. So instead of getting one that sounds right, we just run it on the air. Whatever the hell they're saying. I don't even know what it's for.
You've just been back 2 days and you're nitpicking.
Yes. Well, I got all my nose picking out of the way on the plane. I love picking my nose on the plane because it keeps people from staring at you. No, it does. It works like crazy. Although I didn't really, on the right side, I didn't need to do anything extra because I had that guy with his ass in my face the whole time. That big, fat, ugly Dutch ass right in my face. God, what a huge man. And you're laughing, but it was like a Dutch Josh Friedman. I'm serious. It wasn't me. He could have been his big twin brother. I'm serious. Josh Friedman Sr. Just imagine having that ass in your face for like a half an hour at a time. On a trip that already has taken so goddamn long, you figure you're never going to get back. I don't know if anybody was having a good time on that plane, but there sure were some strong headwinds. Man, felt like they weren't pedaling fast enough. Like maybe the gerbil was getting seasick. 10 before 2 at 560 WQM.
The Neil Rogers Show. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Yes, Bush. Fight the move! Saddam Hussein, the motherfucker. Saddam Hussein, the motherfucker.
Yes.
Saddam Hussein, the motherfucker. Saddam Hussein, the motherfucker. Iraq's a crappy little country. Smells like the mustache on his face. Just get rid of that. You're in drinking chubby and blow up the whole goddamn place. Saddam Hussein, the motherfucker. 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 Saddam Hussein, the motherfucker.
But he's still there, baby, thanks to Papa. 156 at 560 WQM. We got Hank coming up in 4 minutes. Here's a call in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
The racist people in the United States would rather vote for an immoral Christian than for the perfect Jew. You know, and everybody that's thinking...
Well, I got news for you. We didn't have no perfect Jew.
Well, that's exactly where I'm going. What they tried to do was to distance themselves from the so-called immoral President Clinton. And what they did is to manage to lose West Virginia, that always votes Democrat, lose Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana. Just look at the moral majority and all of the other redneck religious fanatics in those states, and you then count their votes, all of them in favor of the Mr. Bush. Let me tell you, Mr. Lieberman, or Senator Lieberman, not only was one of the few senators in Washington that was supporting the kidnapping of Elian Gonzalez by this crowd here in Miami. And after that, a few days before the election, came to Miami to cry tears over Mascanosa's burial place. Okay? Yeah. So that's an example. All for naught.
That sure helped a lot, didn't it?
All for naught, because these people here were already well into knowing for who they were going to vote.